to the big with me, your man, Louie T, here on our first installment of CWALL Wednesdays here with Commanders beat reporter from Bowie TV, Candi Waller. We've done this before, but not in this manner. CWALL Wednesdays. We're going to try to bring this to you guys as many times as we can this season. You guys loved the last time I had her on. She's a phenomenal guest, does a great job covering this team, as we've talked about so many times before. Miss Waller, how are you doing today as we lead up to week number 1? It feels like we've been doing this forever now. It finally is here and upon us. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And the vibes are all in the right place and all the places. It's the right type of time, the right type of vibe. So I'm good.
I love it. I love to hear it. Feels like the team is healthy going into this thing. We saw the injury report for the first time. We're going to get into all of the particulars, but we got to go back first before we can get to present day and talking about the Giants and some things that you feel about this team going into week 1. So the last time we spoke, we both laughed at the notion of Brian Robinson Jr. getting traded. And of course, lo and behold, about a week after we spoke, Brian Robinson Jr. in fact was traded from the Commanders to the San Francisco 49ers. I want to get your thoughts on that move. Did you see it coming? Obviously, I did not think they were going to do that. We understand the rationale behind it, but what were your initial thoughts? Were you taken aback by the move, and would you have done it?
I was taken aback by the move. I would not have done it. I totally understand, like you just said, totally understand. And we had even, like you just mentioned, we had talked about, okay, there's this notion of how would you keep all of them. This room was a deep room. This was something that we talked about on this show. That was the highlight of position groups, where I kind of just walk around camp, see who really stands out. I play this game, even with myself, called who made me look, right? And the running backs made me look early on. Right. And so I said, oh, this is legit right here. And as Adam Peters shared in his press conference last week with Dan Quinn, Brian looked amazing. He was in great shape. He was doing all the right things. You could see it. And that joint practice, I think I did share. I was like, if there was a star, it was certain. One of those stars was certainly, one was Jayden Daniels, one was Zach Ertz, the other Brian Robinson Jr. He was excellent. And Coach Cliff Kingsbury also mentioned that to me when I asked him specifically about Brian right before he got traded. He was like, yeah, the joint practice was his best, with the pads on and everything. Yep. I don't think I would have done it. I understand. But hey, there was value out there. You make a call to your old friends over in San Fran, and they absolutely wanted him. So there's that.
Yeah, it was a win-win for both teams. I, like you, would not have done it necessarily, but they had so much confidence. We talked about this the last time. One, a lot of people, including yourself, said B-Rob brought the energy at that joint practice. He was one of the few guys that went out there and kind of brought energy, took it to the Patriots early on in that joint practice. And like you said, Cliff said that was his best practice to that point. And they loved that room. Cliff said he felt like all 7 of the dudes that were there at the time could play on an NFL roster this year. So they thought the room was deep. They felt like they could get by without his production. And that's the thing when you started to peel back the layers for me, was he never produced at the level that, we felt like his talents may be capable of, whether that be injury, obviously getting shot before his rookie season. He dealt with a lot of things here, but he never eclipsed 800 yards in his NFL career on the ground. And so they looked at that production. They looked at his future with this team. And that's the thing I think was the most important, right? Was that they knew he wasn't a part of their future. They weren't going to re-sign him. And I did not think at the time that the $3.4 million that he was due was a big deal. Right. But clearly that was a big motivating factor, not just for them, but for the teams that were interested. Like, you got to eat some of this, right? Yep. So I didn't realize that money was such a big part of this, but they move on from B-Rob, and you look at the room now as is. What do you see with this room? Because now they truly have a running back by committee. With B-Rob here, initially we had a lead dog and everybody else kind of fell in line, right? Get in where you fit in type of deal. Now this is a true running back by committee. How do you see this thing ultimately shaping out for this team?
I really feel like, okay, their offensive line must be some dogs. That's what I said. I said, okay, I know what this looks. I know what the sign is. We were playing Use Your Clues. I said, oh yeah, they got a lot of faith in this offensive line. Exactly to your point. This is by committee. Whatever we can do, whoever we, Jaden passes the ball off to, it can get done. Yeah. Right. And I think they're also expecting more, again, just that versatility. I kept talking about the fact that all of the other running backs in that room also played special teams. B-Rob did not. So you get the impact on teams as well as, like you said, running back by committee. So I was like, okay, this is letting me know they for sure have a better offensive line. They think already they can do a lot with this running back room. They're super fast. They can move in tight spots and they can roll, right? And this isn't necessarily short yardage time either. This is go out and get it. Yep. When they have that, that blocking ability, and I always call it the extension of the O-line and John Bates, I really always say, okay, they have something here with this offensive line. And I think they just let everybody know that, because it's like, hey, well, who do you want? We can do Austin, we could do Chris, we could do, J Mac, or we could do Bill. So I think it's kind of like that, keeping everyone guessing, because you really don't know who they're going to utilize and when.
So when we talked last, also, the Commanders hadn't actually trimmed down their 53-man roster either. So you look at the roster and what they did there. I'm going to pull up on the screen quickly the depth chart that they put out here, their first official depth chart of the season, which will coincide with the 53-man roster. They haven't really done anything different. Last year, there were changes galore after the initial 53-man roster, i.e. going out and getting Noah Brown, trading away John Ridgeway, etc. They haven't done any of that to this point. There were a few surprises to me. I want to see if we are on the same page. Anything stick out to you about the depth chart or the 53-man roster when they first finalized their 53?
I think it was the initial of there's only 5 receivers on here. I said, okay, if there's only 5 receivers, perhaps it's because they're going to utilize all 4 of their running backs, right? They're going to keep 4. They only had 5 receivers. Okay, they beefed up a little bit more. They have a bit more numbers in the linebacker, 53 as well. And so those were the things that I immediately took a look at. One day I actually mentioned or saw the rumors that the team was also shopping Noah Igbenogany.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so that is also another name that I was saying was having a great camp. Right. So we started looking at, okay, he's having a great camp. Value. Is anyone interested? Okay. I know there's also been a lot of talk about Kendrick Bourne coming into town. And if they were going to pull another free agent wide receiver, someone who had been released, very similar to your point as they did last year with Noah Brown. So I would still say, keep your eyes open, because I know we are, right? But those were the bigger things that kind of stuck out to me, like, that I did not expect. Well, I don't want to say the 4 running backs. I expected that. Yeah. Because what else you gonna do, right? That they were going for. And then it was the receivers. Yeah, that was the one. But then again, I took a good look at the linebacker room, which is another position group that I've been tracking. And I was like, okay, I kind of see what they did there.
So receiver for me felt like 5, right? Because nobody stepped up.
That was it.
So, yeah, it felt like 5. The 2 positions that I thought were, okay, that's interesting. One, I thought Ali Cajo played well enough to make this roster. I just didn't think he would, right? I didn't think they would pull the trigger and say, hey, you earned a spot. Because you always start thinking in terms of, can we get this guy to the practice squad? And I felt like Ali Cajo was the guy they could get to the practice squad. So he felt like a guy that if they needed a roster spot, they could go there.
Yep.
Right, and say, okay, we can get you to the practice squad. But I thought he played well those final 2 preseason games in particular.
Mm-hmm.
And so he really made a case to make the roster. Josh Johnson, I did not think played well enough to make the 53-man roster. I did not think they needed to keep 3 quarterbacks. Him and Sam Hartman both made it tough to evaluate some of the other positions, right? The tight end, the receivers. They didn't play well. Yeah. So I understand the rule, and the rule suggests that you should keep a 3rd quarterback because you don't have to have them active on game day. They can still be your emergency quarterback as long as they're on the roster. I just didn't think we had 3 guys, personally. So that was a bit of a shock to me as well, that they kept a 3rd quarterback or didn't go out and seek a 3rd quarterback. Like, I thought that still available, and I don't know why they didn't bring him back anyway, but last year they had Jeff Driscoll, right? And I thought he played well in the preseason last year. And so he was still available. He just signed with the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken, like yesterday. So I was thinking, like, why not go back and go get Jeff Driscoll or someone of that ilk? Josh Johnson, who just didn't play well, right? That was a little bit head scratching to me. You got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I would be asking all the time, is Jeff Driscoll, like, what happened? Did something happen?
Right.
Like, something
that we don't know about.
That we don't know about, right? I mean, that's like for real, because he was absolutely still available, as you just said.
Yeah.
And that, 3rd and 4th spot, it felt like it was like, Sam, this is Sam Hartman. This is your job to lose. Right now, last year they carried 3 on the or 4, basically. They did the same thing last year. So I figured the model would still be the same. I was shocked that Jeff Driscoll didn't return. And then even after the first preseason game, you didn't see him again because he was still out there.
Right.
So definitely could not figure that one out as well, because I definitely don't think either one of them was convincing enough. I mean, yes, Josh Johnson would be quarterback 3 and Sam Hartman 4 and on the practice squad, but it just didn't look good in any of those games with them. So it was a shock. We still don't, that would be an unsolved mystery, I think.
Yeah, I started to ask the same question you just did, Candi, because we think alike. Like, okay, did something happen behind the scenes that we don't know about? Because it just didn't make any sense why Jeff Driscoll wasn't still here. And especially after what you saw against New England, you should have been like, okay, but then you get what you got in Cincinnati, and they still had time. They went out and got, George Fant, like literally at the end, and he made the roster. Like, there was still time after that Cincinnati game to say, you know what, this isn't enough. Let's just go get Jeff, bring him in here. He knows the system. He was here last year, and he could have got a little bit of work in that final preseason game and could have been your 3rd quarterback, You look at this 53-man roster, and more specifically the depth chart here, and there are a couple of things that stick out. And I wanted to start with right tackle. I think we kind of knew Josh Conley Jr. was, because that was always the plan to have him start. Yeah. But to see him actually start, and then how about Allegretti or Wiley is as the right guard? I think that's so interesting. I personally, and I don't know what they're going to decide to do, I still think it's going to be Nick Allegretti, because Wiley is your first guy off the bench. He's your swing tackle. You really don't want to put him at risk because he is the guy that would go in, presumably, if something were to happen at either tackle spot. So to have him in the game and have him compromised, I think is something that they don't want to do. But I will say this, and I said this earlier on my show, if they don't like what they see out of Nick Allegretti in that first game against the Giants, and that's going to be a tough assignment. Going up against Dexter Lawrence and that defensive front. If he struggles, I would not be shocked to see them go to Wiley in the absence of Sam Cosmi for the duration of him being out until he returns, if Allegretti doesn't play well early. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I mean, they're going to have to show and prove it, because the word on the street is, the NFL streets, is that the Giants are going to have a good showing with their pass rush.
Yeah.
It is the full expectation that the Giants' defensive front and their pass rush is going to be on 1,000 on Sunday. So this is a very tall task. out of the gate for the Washington Commanders. This by no means is a small game. I mean, it's already a division matchup, but this is going to be hard in the trenches. Yep. And we know that the Commanders have done a lot to try to beef up their offensive line. We know this.
Right.
And so seeing the or there, I will tell you, I definitely smirked. Like, okay, all right. And then, with seeing Josh Connerly, I think at right tackle, it then became that, for me, I'm always thinking, more strategic and bigger. And when they are drafting guys, the expectation is that they are going to play.
Right.
Like, this is not developmental time.
Yeah.
You're going to earn that spot, right? Because they were clear on the competition throughout camp. Right. I don't think they would put him in that spot unless he absolutely earned it, because that's just the notion of their program. They do competition. That's what they do. That's how they roll. Mm-hmm. So he won. He got it. Yep. But then it becomes all right, but because on the other side, you take the comparison, right? Mm-hmm. Your right tackle is Josh Connerly Jr., and then your left tackle is Laramie Tunsil. Yeah. So at this point, it is the expectation that there are walls built around Jayden Daniels. Mm-hmm. And it has to be built on week 1 because they got a very short window to get to week 2.
Yeah.
And so this, if it doesn't look good, right? Because Sam Cosmi's still on PUP, and that's what I've been watching. Oh, what's going to happen when Cosmi gets back? Right. I can't wait to see how this unfolds, right? In terms of who gets released, who gets, how does this all shake up? And I'm still not convinced there's not a 6th receiver somewhere. So
we're gonna get to that.
Where? You know what I mean? So we're going to see, but the or is either you there's some gamemanship right there, or is really an or.
So another thing, and we're gonna come back because you said a couple of things that I want to circle back to. Noah Igbenogany, I want to talk about that, so we're gonna look at here and we can get to that. But I also want to talk about the special teams aspect. So Debo is listed as our primary kick returner. I actually do think they're going to put him back there from time to time this season when they need a spark, etc. I think he'll be out there week 1 to start the game. I don't know if he'll return every single kickoff, but I think that opening kickoff, the first time that we get the football, he will be out there to return the kickoff. I do believe that. But he's such an integral part of what we're going to do this year offensively. And because of that lack of depth you've talked about already in terms of veteran experience at receiver behind the frontline guys, I don't think you can expose him. That same could be said early on this season for Austin Eckler, right? This is an all-pro a season ago as a kick returner. And obviously he sustained 2 concussions on kickoffs. So they're a little sensitive to putting him back there, which they should be, right? So I wonder what they're actually going to do when they go to return kicks, and it's not like Luke is probably going to be back there. He's listed, and he actually didn't do poorly last year when he got opportunities, and they're going to try to use him as many times as they can because he's obviously not going to play as much as a receiver. So they want to find ways to get him on the field. I wonder if they're going to put McNichols back there. DQ talks about the versatility of the running back room and etc. I wonder if you could see Bill or someone like that back there. I wonder what they're going to do at kickoff. Is that something that you gave any thought to, or is that not something that you've really thought that much about?
All the time. I'm a special teamer. That's what I tell
that's right. That's right.
I always say I'm a special teamer. I think I'm pretty much the reason why we can no longer record special teams.
That's right. You told us that the last
time. Even when we're out there, they're like, no special teams. It's like, oh man, because
that's right.
So I remember the first few times I saw Debo go back there, and I was like, yes, because that was one of the things when they first traded for Debo. Debo is, he is he's a major chess piece because he can block. You can use him out the backfield. He's a receiver. He's a returner. Now, exactly to your point, you would see San Fran use him in the clutch, in the playoffs and all that if they need it too. But I would also be looking and saying, I think they're going to use him in the season. Like this is the season, you all. They don't even really like to talk about last year, especially not now. But here's one thing that I know has been clear is that the 5 close games is what still makes many say last year wasn't real.
Yeah, fluke. It was a fluke.
Washington Commanders. It was luck.
Mm-hmm.
It was all luck. What is it? Like beginner's luck, right? Like, hey, y'all just got together, you got hot, and it worked. Right? This has to be convincing for all parties involved. And as Coach Quinn shared with us today, they want to build off of that.
Yeah.
So Debo doing returns is a real thing. Jeremy McNichols is so good at tackling and knocking people out and making way for his teammate who's never doing the return. You might see him, but I don't know. He's so clutch in that regard. Mm-hmm. Don't ever be surprised if you see Austin go back there.
I won't be. Don't
ever be surprised, because I was like, absolutely not. And then the next day at OTAs, there he was. And I said, wow, okay, I was wrong about that. Yeah. And so there's that. And there's somebody else that used to do returns on the team when they were in college.
I know where you're going with this. They put him back there against New England too.
Well, no, not.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're not talking about the same person there.
Not that one. Mm-hmm. Mikey Sarah still. Just
Oh.
So be watchful, be mindful.
Okay.
Also remember,
he was a former receiver too, so he did play offense. That's right.
See my eyes go.
That's right. I forgot about that. I always forget Mikey used to play offense before he played defense. So
okay, so just know
I was thinking Noah Igbenogany before.
Well, he did do it a couple times, and he did do it because we talked. Yes, but I knew that was enough. Yes, to him, but to the one I just mentioned.
Okay, that's interesting.
And always remember this. They always talk about that is their anchor unit. That is their flagship. That is the one that when they come out, they want you to know what type of time they are on. Yeah. So that lets you know they're not going light.
Yeah. And to that point, last year there were few things that we knew we could count on every week. Mm-hmm. And one of the few things we knew outside of Jaden's, performance in the offense, we trusted them wholeheartedly last year, right? Mm-hmm. Every game. We knew we could count on kickoff coverage, just special teams in general outside of the actual place kicker, right?
Right.
Every coverage unit, the return units were good. We weren't great on punt returns necessarily, but we just didn't have anybody dynamic back there. But we blocked kicks last year. We hadn't done that in ages. We blocked kicks last year. We were forcing fumbles on returns. We were going down there smashing people before they got to the 20. Yeah. Like, that was a dynamic unit last season.
It is. Yeah.
That's why the Patriots' performance was jarring.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, who are these guys? Like, that's not what we stand for. And DQ, you could tell. Even today, and we're going to get to I thought he had a really good press conference today. This felt regular season-esque because, you get into the minutia in the dog days of summer and you're getting them every day and you're getting repetitive questions, so you get repetitive answers.
Yeah, all the Terry stuff.
Yes. Oh my God, where's Waldo? Right? Like, we got to a boiling point, right? With the where's Waldo. We're not doing that with him, right? And so he was fed up.
He was sick of it, yeah.
Yeah. And so this felt like, okay, we're back to regular season. Like, this felt good. But Noah Igbenogany, you said something about him, there were rumors circulating around him being traded. Do you think there were really legs to that? Like, it was interesting because I did not want him traded, first and foremost. But they played him so much in the preseason, it made me think, like, wait a minute.
They did.
They're showcasing him potentially.
For sure. And he was having a really good camp. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was possible. And then they traded Brian Robinson Jr. And then that came out. I said, well, you know what? This might be real because he's everywhere. And he was having a great camp for sure. I was surprised to hear it, but I mean, what else is new? But that's the other thing that I think I took away from this year, because we saw them trade, like you mentioned earlier, John Ridgway. We saw them trade Jahan, right? They're gonna make a trade. They will do, and they've been open and honest and transparent about we're going to keep on digging to get better. Like we're going to keep on digging. So it's not like it's a secret that they would do this. So once I really started to look at it, I said, you know what? Noah might be a prime candidate. He really might be if someone had interest, right? I know that some fans aren't favorable of Noah Igbinoghene, so it's great that you are, because he had a really good camp. The only thing is he might be good for a DPI.
Well, you look, he's a backup for a reason, but
absolutely
in a pinch, like first of all, he was one of the unsung heroes of last season. Okay,
for sure.
Mikey, and them showing their versatility. When we had Benjamin St. Juice and we had Michael Davis and we had Emmanuel Forbes Jr., who they couldn't cover anybody. They were pressed into action. Mikey was drafted to be a nickel. They put him outside. Noah Igbinoghene was playing outside. They moved him inside, and they made it work. And they made it work. And if it's not for him, I don't know what we would have done on defense last year. He
did way more. I'm so glad that you said he did way more than people want to give him credit for down the stretch. Absolutely. Those last wins, those last few, wins after the bye. And all of that, like he really was. And he shared the story with me off the record and on the record. In Dallas, he was on the practice squad for the most part. Everybody be like, well, of course he was. But listen, I think it's a testament to DQ and how he really pays attention to work ethic and what guys do to get better and just stay ready so that when their name is called, they know how to execute immediately. And that's Noah Igbinoghene. That's him. And he has been excellent all throughout OTAs and camp. So we'll see now with a trade like that, right? If that were to happen, it's like, okay, well, then what are you trying to get?
Yeah.
Is this for picks to kind of grow that arsenal, pick that arsenal back up? Yeah. Or are you talking player for player?
Yeah. In my mind, when I heard the rumor, I said to me, and I really think, and I can't speak for him. I don't know what his thought process was, but I really felt like there was genuine interest in him. But I felt like Adam Peters, AP, was like, I need a 5th round pick for him. A 6th won't do and a 7th won't do, because he's worth more to us and what we're trying to do this year than a 6th or a 7th. We already got a 6th round pick. We got 2 of them, as a matter of fact, now. A 7th round pick is cool, but that's not moving the needle for what we're trying to do this year. If you want him on your roster and you want us to be okay with moving on from him, I need a 5th round pick, which we do not hold in the upcoming draft, right? So I need a 5th round pick, and I don't know if anybody was willing to give up a 5th round pick for Noah Igbinoghene. So that's why I think he's still here, and that's, I would have drew the line there too. And I told fans, like a lot of fans, was like, I don't want to trade him because we don't want the depth of this. That's one of the stronger positions corner is. We at least feel really good about. And if you move away from Noah Igbinoghene, you're cutting into, because we honestly we've been told about Jonathan Jones. We don't know him.
No, you don't.
We didn't get to see him this summer.
You didn't.
So everyone's told us he's looked good and he's a veteran. And I've watched him in New England. I know what he's capable of, but I don't know what he looks like in a Commander's uniform. So how can I be confident? I know what Noah Igbinoghene is, for better or for worse. I know what he is. I know what I can ask him to do and what we shouldn't ask him to do. And so I think a lot of people are just comfortable with the thought of him potentially having to go in the game. And I was like, look, I'll trade him. I would be willing to trade him if I were AP, but you gotta give me a 5th round pick.
Right. Because he is an asset to the team. Yeah. He is. And so it will be interesting to see if anything happens there, but he's definitely a player that came up. I asked Coach about him during training camp, because he absolutely was showing improving every time he was on the field, and in preseason games as well.
Yeah, I thought he played really well. Almost to the point where I was like, why is he still out there?
Yeah, that was the whole, okay, are they shopping him? Because
that's right.
Still doing out here. Now you can tell if he wasn't doing well, but he was fine. So I'm like, okay, why is this happening?
Then they put him on kickoffs, and I'm like, okay, are y'all trying to tell me something? Because like y'all are really, really over utilizing this man in the preseason.
everything.
Like, he should be over there with his peers, right? He should not be out here in the preseason day number 3 when everybody else is in street clothes. You know what I'm saying? Chilling. He should not be out here.
Yeah, we was definitely tracking like third quarter, fourth quarter. Like, who's still out? What's happening?
Yeah. Cleveland Farrell, they told us all we needed to know. He saw Clee out there. I said, Clee, go.
Okay, that's not.
Clee, go.
He's out. And people kept asking me, like, what do you think? I think don't put him on your 53. That's what I think.
Yeah, Clee, go.
And that's unfortunate, but it also lets you know where the bar is as well.
Yep. Oh, for sure. And I love it. You're always striving to be better. And I think they've done that. I think they put together a roster that has a chance to compete at a high level this year. So DQ, let's get to the press conferences today. DQ spoke, Jaden spoke. And DQ, I thought, had a really good press conference today. He started off by talking about forging an identity, right? And how important it is and how you don't forge an identity in 1 year. So they have to build off, and to the point that you made, they have to build off of what they did a season ago.
Yeah.
Anything that he said stuck out to you today at his press conference?
I mean, I think it was just that, right? Building off. So many people think that's the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
That last year was the ceiling for the Commanders, right? Mm-hmm. And in year 1, it's like, no, that wasn't the ceiling. That's more like the floor.
Yeah.
For them, when you look at the entire body of work, it goes back to they don't want to just beat you. They want to beat you so that it's not a question of, well, if it wasn't for the dump to the division, or well, if the Lions didn't have all these injuries, or well, if it wasn't,
there's always some sort of excuse, right?
Always an excuse. And it's like, no,
that's Giants fans right now. If we had our kicker last year, we would have beat y'all in week 2. That's kind of what you're referring to, right?
Exactly.
There.
All of this is why you won.
Yep.
They don't hear that either. And I've always respected DQ's energy around topics like that, because when the team was going back to, I always call it week 1 of the second season, but when they were going back to Tampa for playoffs, and he was talking about one of somebody, from week 1 of the regular season, was like, oh, you'll get him next time. And he's like, whatever, like, screw you, or whatever. Right. And I laughed so hard in the back, because I'm like, I think I was one of those people, because I was like, they're so upset. They're so angry in week 1, and it's like, hey, it's fine. It's totally okay.
No, it's their first time. It's your first season, your first game, rookie quarterback. Like, give all the excuses, and he wasn't trying to hear none of that.
No, nothing at all. And so it today, to your earlier point about that week 1, it felt like football energy. That was Dan Quinn. Yeah. Like, we're here. I mean, what else are you here for?
Yeah.
If you're not here to win football games and win championships, like, what else would you be sacrificing your bodies, your time, all of this, away from your families, if you're not here to win championships? Yeah. And that is the type of time that they are on. Like, that's they all on the same thing. This is what we're here to do. And he brought that energy today, to your point, in the press conference, where it's like, I mean, he's always respectful. He's going to give respect to the other coaches and other teams. And, all of that, his comment about the Giants defensive line. Hey, they can give you a lot of problems. These people.
That's right. That's right.
So he's not going in it arrogant.
Yeah.
He's going in confident and prepared. And so that really stuck out to me, was just they want to build on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you went 12-5. You went to the NFC Championship with your then rookie quarterback. What you mean? You're going to be lucky if you get there. That's not the type of time that they're on. They're not on that type of time. And so when I've been on shows, people ask me questions like, they try to ask me, how many games I think they'll win. I got a story about that. If we get to that topic, I got a last year story about that, right? So I've got to be careful what I say.
Yeah.
But I've also said that winning 15 games and winning 14 games isn't ridiculous, because the Detroit Lions did it and the Eagles did it, right?
Yeah.
So if we're reading the tea leaves here, I mean, these folks act like why not them?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? If that's the type of time that you're really trying to be on, and we all know that they are. So do I think that's a different conversation? But like, that is what this is. And when you look at their coaching staff, you look at how much they've done to improve from last year's roster. And to your point, they have this roster. I believe, just on paper, it is better.
Yep.
So if you were able to do that with that roster, then what you gonna do with this one? And that's the type of time that they're on.
Yeah, I was so locked into his dialogue today because it was so driven by intent. Like, he's very intentional with what he talked about today. From my favorite thing today was Mamba time. That was the first time we had heard. I thought we were about to get a Kobe Bryant, story. Because anytime you hear Mamba, you think Mamba mentality, you think Kobe Bryant. So I'm thinking, okay, we about to get some recycled Kobe Bryant story. And he went into detail. And every so often, DQ will pull the curtain back and let you in, right? Like, the beauty is there has to be a good balance, right? With Rivera, we live with the curtains, the blinds, everything open. You can just see in the house at all times. And with DQ, hey, look, the curtains and blinds are closed, but every so often he lets some sun in. He let us in, like, oh, we can see what's going on in there. Okay. And when he described Mamba time to us today, I was like, wow, I did not think that's what Mamba time was going to mean, right? And in explaining that in such great detail, we saw, because it's not a coincidence that this team was so prepared in so many different moments, right? You think about the end of the Dallas game, the first one, despite losing that game, that Mamba time that he described today is exactly what they executed to a T. That put them in the position to score the 86-yard touchdown and should have tied the game up. And so when you think about him talking about that game, or even the Steelers game, again, another game we lost, but if Johnny Newton doesn't jump off sides, we're going to get the ball back. And you're like, wow, they prepare for that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the Hail Mary was it was a play.
Yeah.
Like, the Hail Mary was a real, it was real. Like, they practiced it. Like,
and you can tell they practiced it. Right. And the Bears didn't, because they backed all their players up and gave us a free 12 yards. And what did they do? They took advantage of it. Like, it's the little things in those situations that when you rep it, you can tell who does and who doesn't, who's well coached and who isn't, who's well prepared and who's not. And that's what I love about this staff, is that they're over prepared for the thing that you're not thinking about. Being down multiple scores at the end of a game, needing 2 scores, knowing how much time you got to have left on the clock, knowing that you want to preserve your timeouts to be on defense. So let's go down here and just get into field goal range. I hearing him talk about that, and then hearing him talk about the identity piece, because he did it on multiple occasions today. And he talked about the sting of that loss to Philadelphia, and how he's like, you got to live with that. You got to let that one stew a little bit, but you can't forget, but you can't linger on it too long, right? And you got to move forward. And you could tell a lot of their moves this offseason stemmed from the inability to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
That's what it was.
Yeah. Like, they knew they needed somebody to have run after catch. So what did they do when they got Deebo? They knew they needed to protect Jaden better, right? The Eagles were the one team. Well, Dallas did a little bit too, but the Eagles consistently were the team that he just didn't feel comfortable back there, right? They went and got Laramie Tunsil. Obviously, we couldn't stop anybody from running the ball, but we definitely couldn't stop Saquon. And so they went and fortified the entire defensive line. So you could see a lot of the changes that were made based off of that game and the impact that it had. And I loved him talking about this first game, and the first quarter of the season stuck out, right? Like, hey, we got to be good on special teams. We got to get back to being a beast on teams. We got to tackle better, right? We got to be, he talked about situationally, end of half, end of games. Like, we got to be sharp. They have to start fast this year, because the schedule only gets tougher after the first 4 weeks.
It only gets worse. One of the things that I was tracking all last year, and I will always bring this up because I asked Coach Kingsbury this during offensive coordinator. I might ask him something similar tomorrow if I get the mic. But anyway,
yeah, because I noticed you were absent today on the mic.
I was there. I was.
I know you was there. When I say absent, I'm not talking about you weren't there. I'm talking about your voice was absent on the mic for DQ. Now you asked a Jaden question.
Yeah,
but you didn't get a DQ question today.
No, I didn't get a DQ question today. But when I asked last year Coach Kingsbury about what he was looking forward to most in week 1, he was like, he knew that everyone was looking to see what this world-class coaching staff was going to do. So everything that you're mentioning, to your point, that is a result of this coaching staff. Another highlight, going back to Jaden's presser talking about DQ, when he was asked about the identity, I don't remember who it was. I think it was DC News Now, I think, that was asking about the identity based on what Coach Quinn said. And Jaden paused and he said, what did DQ say?
What did DQ say? That was hilarious, by the way.
Whatever DQ said, that's what we are. And that is how they move.
Yep.
And that is how they move. And that is how they also prepare. So for the best of times, the worst of times, like we've heard Dan Quinn say, don't get too high, don't get too low. Yep. They are ready. And no one is panicking.
Yeah.
Because they prepared for it. Everybody else is, I think I made the joke about the Hail Mary. I made a joke. I said, I guess they're going to do the play where they're going to do the Hail Mary to Noah Brown. And I got up and went to the bathroom. And
that's crazy.
Literally what they did. And I'm like,
yeah.
That was for stuff like this, and it
worked. Right.
Like what? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they prepare. And you talk about the Mamba time when they know and it's situational, like you said, and they got to get it, that's where everybody knows where they gonna pull from in the playbook. They pulling from Mama time. That's what. And I mean, and many of the players, their favorite player is Kobe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they got a lot of West Coast guys.
Yes,
it's a new generation too.
It's a new generation. So that generation is like Kobe.
Yeah. Right.
Kobe. And so so you do things or you build an environment that it resonates with whomever their heroes are, because it means something to them to show up in that way. It's not a hard sell, and they all believe that they can do it. It's not like this is far-fetched or this is a stretch for me. They're really an inspirational group to be around because it's kind of like they really believe everything they say.
Yeah.
It's not lip service at all.
Yeah. And we talked about that before that this is a group that when they say something, they mean it. Yeah. And I think some fans, because there's a lot of PTSD that really, and there's still some fans with PTSD now. And so because that exists, there are a lot of fans that are like, yeah, whatever. They're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Still like, okay, we've seen good seasons, not like the one last year. Like most of us haven't seen seasons like the one last year, but we've seen where they had a good season and then what did they do the next year? And so I'm one of those fans that I'm like, this is the last bit of PTSD I'm holding on to, is not being able to do this for consecutive years. And so I'm really interested to see what they do this year. Let's go into Jaden, his press conference, and then we're going to circle back and touch on Kendrick Bourne. We brought that up earlier, and I want to touch on that. But Jaden's press conference today, first of all, does he not look so much more relaxed at the podium?
He does. And when everybody was talking about how big he was before, I mean, I saw it, and then it was like, oh, there's Jaden, and I just, but now I'm like, okay, yeah, he's definitely like, from May to now, definitely hold different physique. He ready for the war. Ready for the war.
As he said, putting on some body armor.
Like I was like, okay, got it. And he's definitely more relaxed. He's definitely a lot better with, the media and
Yeah.
just overall media presence. And his
Yeah.
he doesn't like the attention.
He doesn't. Yeah, he still doesn't like doing his media session. He still doesn't love it, right? Like as soon as it's over, he's gone, right?
Yeah.
Hey, thank y'all, and he out, right? Like,
Yeah.
But he's much more confident and comfortable. He's smiling. You know what I mean? You can tell he is a lot more comfortable in his role on the team now as a veteran in year 2, but a captain, a guy that absolutely, like, I loved him talking about the conversation he had with Josh Conley Jr., right? Like that's veteran leadership from your second year quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, give me something that stuck out from Jaden's press conference for you.
Well, yeah, that he laughs a lot. Like he laughs a lot. He makes us laugh. We make him laugh. You know, I mean, even when that question, and I was like, I guess if people don't know, I mean, we joke.
Right.
He kind of felt like I was gonna say something crazy, but I was trying to beat him to saying something crazy.
Right.
Like, okay.
Right. In case they didn't know you was a first round.
In case they didn't know. Right? I mean,
he started laughing
because you don't know, because he's funny, and it is kind of at times can be like dry humor, but it's like. But sometimes not, it'll catch you off guard with this. So, and I think even that's why Donna was like, please don't make me laugh.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Funny. Yeah. And so even when he's not trying to be, he's comical. Yeah. And so it's like, okay. But that piece there, what he shared with what did DQ say? Right. And then the question I think was from Lake around the sophomore slump.
Yeah. I love that question from Lake.
Yeah, and I'm always like, well, who had a sophomore slump? Like, well, who had one? Yeah. Because it's like let's put this in perspective of like who really, you know, I mean, we're not gonna get into that right here, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, no, like if we are looking at him as being one of these quarterbacks, I call him one of them ones, but in that elite class with Burrow, Allen, Jackson, and Mahomes, none of them had sophomore slumps.
Exactly. That's what I'm like.
Now, this is what people, Candi, this is where they look at CJ Stroud's season, and they said that, well, CJ, we were doing this same thing we doing with Jaden. We were doing this same thing with CJ last year. And then CJ had a step back. Now, we always point to, well, they still went to the playoffs. They still won a division. They won a playoff game, but they played in an awful division. Yeah. And this is the NFC East. And you're not going to be able to do what the Texans did last year and still get to the point that they got to. And so that's what everyone's saying is like CJ was afforded a benefit that Jaden will not be because the Eagles exist. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be good. I don't even think the Giants are going to be good. But we know the Eagles are good. And we know the Eagles are going to be good. And so you're not going to be afforded where if the Texans didn't win a division, then they weren't going to the playoffs. Nobody else was getting into the playoffs from that division. So it was whoever won the division. So a lot of people say CJ took a step back. There were a lot of circumstances surrounding CJ last year, a lot of injuries. The offensive line was awful. Receivers position was depleted with injuries. But nobody wants to talk about that. Yeah. They just want to talk about that CJ wasn't as good as he was in his first season. And so that's what a lot of people point to and say, you know, sophomore slump. And they talk about, you know, Robert Griffin III. And I'm like, this ain't that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I lived that. This ain't that.
Definitely not.
So it's a lot of guys that they want to point to and say, well, is this, is that? I ain't buying it. And I love that Lake said, you know, on contrary to that, right? Everybody want to talk about sophomore slump. How about Mahomes in his second year going to the Super Bowl winning as a starter? How about Jackson in his second year winning league MVP?
Yeah.
Can't that be you this year? What's up with that? And Jaden was like, look, man.
Yeah.
I see the bait you throwing out there. I ain't
gonna take it.
You know, I ain't taking the bait. But I'll tell you like this. I just want to be the best version of myself. And if we win as a team, the individual accolades will come, which they will. It's such a great answer from him.
Absolutely. He's got it. Mm-hmm. We saw him today defer to his coach and whatever his coach say. We saw him today, you know, based on what he's asked, you know, talk about how he mentors and the advice he's given to the other, you know, this year's first rounder, because let's all be clear, there's different expectations for the first rounder. Right. So, and he's starting. And so it's a different expectation for the first rounder. It is what it is. And so we saw that piece of it. We also saw him talk about the veterans in the room. He also still talked about the veterans and that the team added more veterans to your overall point of just the caliber of players in this locker room on this team. I will always say, well, going back to John Jones, because folks haven't seen him. We have, so yes. And there's a lot of good things there. But I will always say I feel like Jonathan Jones and Dietrich Wise are underrated signings because of their championship pedigree.
That's right.
And it's something to be said about that. We always talk about Bobby Wagner, and rightfully so. But Jaden will tell you, you'll hear Terry mentioned it when I asked him last week about Bobby. Zach Ertz. Right? The security blanket, somebody who is super quiet, but makes all the impact for his teammates on and off the field. It is a way that you have to move. It is a way that you have to show up to the building, at practice, in film room, when you out having, dinner with your teammates, when y'all out playing golf, that it has to resonate. This is how you carry yourself. Everything down to nutrition and diet. I was talking to some of the guys today about some of their favorite foods that they're not eating, that they gave up months ago. Why? Because of what their body needs to be able to do to withstand a long season. I remember last year when Frankie Louie during training camp was talking about, what your body does in December and January and February. And I was like, oh, this is so nice. Frankie Louie think they gonna be somewhere.
Yeah, you was all kinds of out of pocket last year.
I was the shadiest I was the out loud shady reporter. I really was. But I was like, oh, this is nice. And so it was just, and that was like PTSD for me too. Like, don't be talking about this all, whatever. Right. But they're serious. So it's like,
clearly they were serious. You did not think that at the time, but clearly they were serious.
And going back to like the PTSD thing, and then like looking at Jaden and sophomore slump and all of this. I remember last year having a conversation with Adam Peters and Dan Quinn. And I think they would be okay with me saying this out loud. It was a joke about, this goes back to this, the how many wins in the season. And I guess, they're joking, but people watch stuff everywhere. And they're like, you think we're only going to win 7 games this season? They were like, damn, that's it? You're here every day. Like, how can you say that? I'm like, well, look, okay, just hear me out. Let's talk it through. And they were like, did you bet on that? Like, no, like, did you bet? Like, you might get your money back. You might want to, gosh. But I was trying to explain the PTSD and all of the things and just everything. And it was right before the Browns game. Yeah. They were like, listen, get fans in the stands. We want fans in the stands. And I'm like, look, it's hard for people to come back. It's hard for people to come back. You all know what it used to be like when you played for other teams. The stadium would be full of your team's fans when you play for other teams.
Right. Exactly. They all know.
They all know. That's right. That is true. They were like, but we don't have anything to do with that. Okay. We're going to do right. We're going to do better for real this time. Yeah. And I always think about that conversation in the hallway with them, like, hear me out. Let's talk about this. They're like, yes, we really want to know your opinion. And I'm like, okay. But, and of course they won that game. But big time won that game. And they just, they accept it, they honor it, they understand it. Absolutely. But they're also like, but that ain't us. Yeah. That is not us.
Yeah. And, I think that going back to your week 1, we have this conversation every time, but it all started with that. That set the tone. Like,
I was like, wow.
Every excuse was there for them to not play well in week 1 versus Tampa last year, and for them to just be okay with that, right?
Yeah.
And that's just not the type of time they was on at all, ever. Like, that's not the standard. That's never going to be okay. We thought we were prepared better for that than what we showed today. And that can't be who we are again. And it wasn't. That was the worst loss up until the NFC Championship.
Up until the championship.
Yeah, that was the worst loss of the season.
That was the worst one of the season. And I think that is one of the reasons why the NFC Championship hurt so bad.
For me as a fan.
Yeah. You reverted all
the way back.
Yeah. And I remember that press conference because I keep so much of what they've said last year, if you haven't noticed, but because I want to see the consistency. I pay attention to what people say, right? And then I pay attention to what they do.
Yeah.
And see if it aligns. It absolutely aligns. But then I remember even in Bobby Wagner's NFC Championship game presser, he said whoever is the most disciplined team will win this game, in my opinion. And we saw what happened.
Yeah.
And the Commanders would, at that point, were like, that was one of their staples.
Yeah.
Discipline, focus. And it all went to crap. And they still had a chance for a moment there. They still had it like a glimmer of hope.
Yeah. If Eckler doesn't fumble, it felt just like the second game,
Exactly.
We were on the way down the field, down 2 scores. We scored there. I felt like if we could ever just put game pressure on the Eagles in that game, we would have had a shot. We just never could put game pressure on them.
Game pressure, the physicality. At the end of the day, they just started beating. They just started literally.
We lost the will to fight at the end.
The game was over. Beat. Yeah. It was like everybody was just getting beat.
Yeah,
it was rough. Beat. And then it was just the they just you saw them starting to unravel.
Yeah,
I started to see Marshawn unravel. It wasn't like intentional. It was almost like, I don't know what the TV version was showing, but it was almost like he was the one getting bullied. It was trying not to do what he really wanted to do, and he was getting all the calls at one point, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's, I think they learned so much from that. And you talk about Jaden today. He talked about external expectations.
Yeah, he
didn't he didn't want to talk about none of that stuff. He's like, look, we are our harshest critic. We know what we expect from ourselves. We let y'all have all those conversations, which is the right answer. When DQ said, when he was asked about, and I think it was what's your I forgot your man's name that worked for
hold on.
Gosh, I can't think of his name. But he asked him about what was his what would constitute a successful season, right? And he said, look, we just play good against the Giants in week 1. Yeah, that's the right answer, right? You let us talk about what after 22 games, after 18 games, what a successful season is. You let us talk about that. You just worry about one game at a time, right? And that's what he talked about. And so I love those answers from him and Jaden. Basically, like, I can't look forward, but to just the next game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And Jaden, I thought his conversation that he talked about he had with Josh Conley Jr. was magnificent. To tell him, look, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Laramie's on the other side, bro. They coming after you in this game.
They coming at you. You gonna get
you the rookie. This your first career NFL start, and Laramie Tunsil was on the other side. They are coming after you, bro. You're going to get work. They're going to send those twists and those stunts your way.
Away. He said you can get all of it.
You're gonna get all of that, bro. You have to be ready.
And I hope you all understood then the logic behind my line of questioning, right?
Yep.
Hey, you want to learn me way?
Yep.
I wouldn't, like, if you have to, if you must, but and he knows, Jaden knows, Josh knows, they know, but in game time it's different. Yes, first rounder, all that. But I tried to, lightly put, and he's starting.
Yeah.
And right, like, that is a tall task that he has.
Because technically, he started the second preseason game.
Right.
Technically, he started that game.
Yep.
But he really hasn't had a ton of time on task with the first team offense. So we're gonna find out, what he's made. And I expect him every so often to give him a little chip, give him a little help, right? They're not just throw him out there and say, you got it, young fella, you got it. They're going to give him a little bit of help. But there's going to be times where they're like, hey, it's on you. 1-on-1. You got to block.
You got to block.
Brian Burns.
Yeah.
You got to block. Abdul Carter. You got to block. Kayvon Thibodeau. It's on you, bro. We not helping you. We trying to get 5 out on this route. You got to block.
Yeah, and you can't not too high, not too low.
Right.
It's just keep at it, and it's a real thing. And I don't think, I think folks are underestimating what this task at the line of scrimmage is really going to be. Yeah. And you don't want to see, even though he's going to do it, you don't want to see Jaden do too much running.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen.
I hope he's going to do it, but it's like,
if he doesn't have to, he won't.
If he doesn't have to, he won't.
If they protect him, if they get him, and I expect Cliff to get the ball out of his hands quickly to try to neutralize the rush. It'd be nice if we could run the football because the Giants aren't the best run, defense team.
Exactly.
So they got a lot of athletes, but they're also small, right?
Yes.
I would love to see us be able to run the football on them. We'll see if that happens. It's not a coincidence, and again, they're a different team now, but it's not a coincidence that Brian Robinson Jr.'s best game of his career came against the Giants. Like, it's just how they're set up. So I want to see if someone can take advantage of them because they got all this athleticism and quickness, but they're not the biggest group up front, you know? So you talked about Kendrick Bourne. Let's circle back before we get to this Giants game. You talked about Kendrick Bourne and him coming to Washington yesterday. He went to the San Francisco 49ers on Monday, left there without a deal, came to Washington, left Washington without a deal. So the question now becomes, my biggest question is, were they just interested in adding Kendrick Bourne, a guy that Adam Peters has history with, or are they actually interested in adding a veteran wide receiver to this group? And it doesn't have to necessarily be Kendrick Bourne. He just was the best available, and there was a history there with Adam Peters. I don't know if you can answer that question, but that's the question that I have. What are your thoughts on Bourne coming here, not getting a deal, and what do you ultimately think is to come of the wide receiver position this year?
Yeah, I'm still not convinced they're not adding a 6th receiver. Okay. Like, I'm just not. Yeah. They could roll with 5. Yeah. Right? And have 4 running backs, right? And then they absolutely can. I would be shocked, but they have pieces to play with. They do, right? They do, but it's just, I don't see them bringing up. I could be, again, totally wrong. Maybe for this week, if they don't sign it, well, of course, if they sign somebody, they probably, because tomorrow Thursday. But like, they could pull somebody up. They could, right?
But who?
I just don't think they are right.
Yeah, like that's the problem. Like nobody wants to see Chris Moore
on the practice squad for certain.
Yeah. Nobody wants to see Chris Moore. Like after the preseason he turned in, I'm shocked that he's even here. To be honest with you, but
we talk about shock.
I'm shocked that he's even here. They must really love him, by the way. Really? Like he has to do something on special teams, or he has to do something. Like he must give them great looks in practice or something, because the fact that he's still here after what this man did in the preseason.
Yeah, I actually made that comment one day, just being real transparent. I definitely was like, they really like him, because at this point he's been here for a while. Because like KJ's not even here, right?
No, right.
Here. Yeah. So Chris is still here from last season.
Yeah.
Right. Remember they added him last year.
Last year, that's right.
So I'm like,
I saw a quote KJ had where he said he was shocked that he didn't make the team. He was like, I came here last year with the expectation that I was going to have a role on the team this year. And to not even be on the roster right now is, he said it was stunning to him.
Yeah, he was shocked. Definitely he was shocked. And that's why I'm like, there has to be a 6th receiver.
I agree. I don't know if you can trust Noah Brown to stay healthy. He's on the injury report right now. I think we feel more comfortable with Noah because of what we saw from him pregame against the Ravens. He looked good in his pregame warmup. But he's never played a full 17, 18 game schedule in his life.
And you don't want to pull him up if you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
He'd rather just deal with it because he's such an amazing competitor.
Mhm.
I don't think like when we talk about the commander standard and like the dogs and the competitive nature in the streak, that is Noah Brown. Like he is, he's one of those Josh Connolly's, right? He might be quiet, may not say much, but he is whoa. Like, yeah, he wants to play for sure. He's on that type of time for certain, and he's been through so much. So I know they want to be careful with him, and that was actually going back to Dan Quinn's presser today. He talked about Terry and Brandon being full go or being full. He didn't say much.
He didn't say much.
So I was like writing in my little notebook, like I tell everybody else to do. Get your notebook. And I was, writing a little something, and I started scribbling, and I said, I looked up when I was listening, but I started like scribbling a little bit, and then I looked up and I looked at his face because I wanted to catch his facial expression, and I was like, okay, all right. They're not gonna, they don't have to.
You definitely hit the nail on the head because I'm like, that question was referring to all three of them.
All of them, and he definitely left him off.
He talked about BC and he talked about Terry. And he's like, yeah, they full go, all team activities. They're good to go. I'm like, hey, what about Noah though? He never circled back to Noah.
Nope.
I said, uh-oh. I think he's gonna be fine.
I think he's gonna be fine too. But he intentionally, he didn't want to. Yeah, no.
I told you today's presser was full of intent. Right?
Yeah.
He did everything intentionally and not bringing up Noah Brown when he talked about all those guys being full go, because obviously he's on the injury report. Brandon Coleman and Terry McLaurin are not on the injury report.
No.
Right. They're fine. Noah Brown not only is on the injury report, he was limited in practice today, not a full participant. So, we'll see what comes of that. But do you think there's a reason Kendrick Bourne didn't sign here in particular?
I would think so. So much sometimes comes like gamemanship. You really don't know what they're doing. Even when you do know, it's like they make you think, well, maybe they're not interested. And then it's always fine. And you're like, what?
Right. Because he can still sign here. He could still sign here.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. It's a spot. I just have a hard time believing they're only going with 5 receivers. I just have a really hard time believing that. But
let me ask you this. You've been there. You've seen practice all summer. How much do they believe in the depth? Those two young players, your first year guy, rookie in Jalen Lane, and your second year player in Luke McCown. How much do they actually trust those two?
I think they would add to that receiver group. I think absolutely trust. There's still some coaching there, though, right?
Yeah.
There's still some coaching there. Many of us witnessed a beautiful coaching moment, mentorship moment between Terry
and Jalen Lane. Yeah, that was awesome.
That was super, for real. And back to Terry being okay. The part of practice we can watch. Terry's okay. He's fine. It's always, he definitely made me laugh out loud like that in practice. I was like, yeah, he's okay.
Good to see you, man. That's good. That's good to know.
Welcome back, Al. Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah.
And then he did presser today. Presser is always a sign too that they're not injured. Presser. And he went ahead and did his today. So, I really think that, yes, but like that's still a tall task. If Noah's not healthy, right, then that's on Terry and Debo to continue to mentor and coach up. Of course they're coaches as well, but you all understand, player to player coaching and mentorship for Jalen and Luke.
Right.
Now, all of them going to compete. All of them got the juice and all the things, but that NFL time is a little different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yes, it is.
So that's why I'm just like, I think they're great. Okay, fine. But I think there's got to be another one. Jalen, you're going to see him at return. You definitely going to see him there. That's going to be, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this on the show, and please don't nobody, feel no type of way about this, but Kevontae Turpin is like one of my favorite returners in the league. Oh my God.
You shouldn't feel bad for saying that. I think that's, he played for the Cowboys, but he's good. He's the best in the league right now.
As a special teamer, I'm like, Kevontae Turpin is like the bar. So I'm like, if he's anything like Kevontae Turpin, or like he turned into that, like, because Coach Izzo was super duper happy when they got Jalen Lane. So I look at it from that perspective, but like all of the things, I'm like, especially if Noah, is sometimes injured. You can't have him in many reps because it's just, I think it's a risk. I mean, they're not going to play anybody injured, if that makes sense, but
yeah, I think he's going to be good, but I think the depth, you just have to prepare for what could happen, because again, he just doesn't stay healthy. So you have to be prepared. You don't want to wait until that happens. You want to already be prepared for that situation. If the old adage is, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, right? So you just want to already be prepared for that type of situation. So I hope that Kendrick Bourne ends up signing here. We could definitely use that depth, and we went 4 receivers deep a lot of time last year. Jamison Crowder had some pivotal moments last year, including that catch in the second Eagles game for the touchdown. Like,
it's super telling that he's still not signed. You know what I mean? It's like, geez, like they have and to your point, I think Jamison was great. Like Jamison came up clutch so many times last season. And it was almost like other teams just weren't expecting them or something, and it would just happen.
Yeah.
He not here. They ain't signed him. So
they are in the process of, we can do better, right?
Yes.
That's it. Olamide Zaccheaus. Me and you both said we were shocked. That's a DQ guy through and through, right? He had a lot more to offer, I felt like, but they was like, we can do better. That's why they drafted Jalen Lane. We can do better than Olamide Zaccheaus. So they didn't bring him back. I think they feel like we can do better than Jamison Crowder. I think they felt like we could do better than Jeff Driscoll. Clearly, you did not.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like,
you did not.
That little sad picture I had in New England, where I'm like, oh my gosh. And Chick saw the picture, Chick Hernandez, and he's like, you got to find a hobby. You too invested in here. You need a hobby. And I'm like, no, listen to me. This is the state of mind I was in. When I saw this, I was in, they need Terry. We need to.
We was over it.
They need Terry, and they got to stop with all these highlights.
That's right.
Ain't it? And they need Terry. And then I was like, where is Jeff Driscoll? Like,
that's crazy.
Show is over. We've seen enough. And nope and nope. So I'm like, well, yes to Terry, of course, but like, nope to Jeff Driscoll. And I'm like, and I didn't bring this up earlier, and I should have. I am shocked they have not. I know they have a lot of trust in Matt Gay. But I am shocked that he definitely didn't have any competition all summer long.
I really think it's the money. I think it's the money that they paid him. They made him he gave him the most guaranteed money in a 1-year contract for a kicker in NFL history.
They sure
and
did.
So they don't want him looking over his shoulder. They don't want to spook him. They're like, hey, we got confidence in you. And how you instill confidence in somebody is to tell them it's your job. You ain't got to look over your shoulder. Go do what you do. And bringing in somebody might have shaken them. And again, if that's enough to shake you, maybe you're not the right guy for the job anyway.
Exactly.
But I think that's just where their head is at. Like, we're not going to get rid of this dude. We paid him too much money, unless he just absolutely stinks this year. And they have to make a move, but they're not there yet. Like DQ said, because he was asked about him during the summer, and he's like, we're not there yet. And so we're going to see, because he definitely did not get off to the start that we were all hoping. We really wanted him to put us at ease going into the season. He has done anything but. And so I don't even like the kickoffs. And I know they try things in the summer, certain types of kicks to see how they can cover it, this, that. Just kick the ball to the 2-yard line in the air. Let everybody run down there, and like those line drive kicks that they catch at the 8 with a full head of steam. Like, I don't need to see that no more. Those don't work well for us.
I was like, he really doesn't have to compete for his job still.
A lot. You're not the only one. A lot of fans. I didn't think they were going to do it, so I wasn't pushing it. But there were a lot of fans like, yo, y'all need to bring somebody else in. He may not be it.
It was well, I mean, in DQ, again, going back to intent and saying what he said, he said they have a lot of faith in him. I think someone did ask, it might have been Adam Kilgore, I think, from the Washington Post, might have asked when we all got back from New England about bringing in some competition, and he said, nope. He got all the confidence, and they stuck to it. They stayed 10 toes down on it, and I was surprised. I mean, I understood in that moment, but as the training camp and preseason went on, I'm like, okay, come on, like, you sure about this? Like, so.
And you know what also sucked too for him was every game that he missed, the other kicker would make a 60-something yard field goal, and he was like, really,
yeah, especially with the Ravens, their kicker, they replaced, Justin Tucker, and he's a rookie.
Yeah, Tyler Loop is a rookie, and he hit it from 61.
Yes,
and it would have been good from 65.
He has been doing that all summer. Well, that's when he was doing that in rookie camp. That's why they said, okay, Justin, you can go.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, so, that's the tough part. Like the Patriots, their second kicker, they drafted a kicker too. And so they had their second kicker. I call him the serial killer because he's got 3 names, John Parker Romo.
Yes. Yep.
He hit from 63.
Yeah.
In the preseason game against us, our guy missed from 49. You know what I mean? He turns around and hits it from 63. You're like, bro, really?
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, it's been rough.
And unless this is a situation where I'm like, maybe you want to really beat people so it doesn't come down to the kick.
Yeah.
Now, but look, this is the NFL. Yeah. You need a reliable kicker.
Yes. Look, for who we are and what we do and how we get down, we're gonna need a kicker. Like, I don't care how good you are, you're not gonna win every game by multiple scores. You're gonna need your kicker. And games swing on momentum of a missed field goal, give up field position, and boom, they score a touchdown. Like, he's gotta be like, that's not something we've talked about a lot. But I think it's in the back of all of our minds as fans, like, yo, you better get his act together, man. Like,
I went ahead and said it. That's why I said I meant to mention it earlier, because it is the top of the season that I'm like, hey, let me just put this out here that it has been discussed. It has been talked about. We're watching as well. Like, okay, he didn't have to compete for his job. All right. Even when he didn't always show improve. Yeah. And, and God forbid, you have games that are decided, based on good and bad official calling. You never want it to be that way, but oftentimes it is. Yep. And that's how you end up with a 1-score game or having to do all this, and so it's something to everybody needs to keep their eye on it. Yeah. Because then you can't say, "Oh, we didn't see this or training." Right. No, it happened.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, that's something we've talked about as fans this summer. They are not happy with, the fans are not happy because, again, we already went into the offseason with our head like, look, they got to fix kicker. We were like, yo, either get an undrafted dude or bring in a young guy to kick, and they didn't. They just signed Matt Gay, so it was like, okay. It's Matt Gay. We looked up his situation last year, and every kick he missed last year was 50 and beyond. He was perfect from under 50. So we're thinking, okay, 49 should be good, 48 should be good. And he's missed every 50-yard kick.
Everyone.
But he missed 48 and he missed 49.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're like, wait a minute, bro. Anything close to 50 is out of bounds right now. But he came back and he hit a 48-yarder against, I want to say it was Cincinnati. He hit a 48-yarder, I believe. So there is that, but he's got to be better, man. He's got to be better. So as we head into this,
unless you're going to bank on them getting that close down to the field so he doesn't have to kick that far. But, I mean, this is just that's too much of a game.
Absolutely. And we know, even DQ said, we can't count on the ridiculous 87% clip converting on 4th downs we had last year.
Yes.
Which we were able to negate the field goal kicker having to kick 52 and 54-yard field goals, because in that range, we just went for it. 4th and 4. All right, Jaden got it, right?
Right.
So you want to be in a position where it's 4th and 8, and you're like, well, we got to kick the field goal. We at the 36-yard line, it's 53 yards, 54 yards. All right, send the field goal kicker out there. And right now, does anybody trust him from 54 yards right now? Absolutely not.
I mean, I know the very first game, preseason game, I was like, oh, Matt, don't do this.
Yes, same thing. I said, you got to get off to a fast start, bro. Earn the trust of not only the fans, forget about us, earn the trust of your teammates and the staff, right? Make this kick, bro.
Yeah, you got to definitely be the Jayden Daniels of field goal kicking.
Yeah.
Like, really, you got to be in mama time for real.
Yeah, and he missed. And
so,
after that, it was like, oh, man, this is going to be rough. This is not the way you want to start.
I want to throw that out there. And I always throw out there when players don't play preseason. And I trust the decision, of course, of who doesn't play preseason and who does. But sometimes it might, it'll be interesting to see, if the dust got to get, all forbid. But that's the thing, right? That is the thing. And I'm just being honest because that's what I do in my reporting, right? Is I'm not going to sell you roses. I'm going to sell you roses, but they might die in 3 days.
Just a disclaimer, right?
Oh, just a disclaimer. So, I mean, all the veterans that did not play the entire preseason, I mean, they're great. They're wonderful. Yeah. So we hope they ready to roll, but
I don't feel as bad about it because like most of the league doesn't play a lot of it. Like
in the Ravens, the Bowie TV covers the Ravens as well, and they don't play
anybody. Like I watched all their preseason games. They didn't play anybody in the preseason. So it's a lot of teams like that don't play their guys. They take advantage of joint practices, or they just say, hey, we'll see y'all week 1. And that's what it is.
Definitely. And, of course, it's always a thing, that the Commanders and Ravens didn't do joint practice.
Yeah.
But because that would have been a serious joint practice.
Yeah. Well, look, I blame you for this, right? I blame you for not having a joint practice because you said, I don't want to see them have a joint practice with the Ravens. The last time I talked to you said, I don't want to see them have a joint practice because you still have PTSD from the Patriots one. You're like, yeah, no, I really don't need to see that. I was like, no, we need to work, Candi. You was like, yeah, no, we're good. We don't. I don't need to see them against them in a joint practice. No. And you got your wish. So I was like, yeah, I'm putting that one on. I'm showing that one to your account. That one's on you.
It definitely. I had a few people, even my Bowie TV team, was like, "Dang, it, you were so negative. Like, did you say something to somebody?" No. I mean, like, I think it was a good idea. I think everybody's doing what's best for the players. Yeah. Y'all go have good seasons.
Yeah. Hopefully we see them in the Super Bowl, man. That would be great.
Everybody keeps talking about it, and it's just like, this is going to be a very interesting season for so many different. There's so many different storylines all over the place, and that would be dope. I would love for Lamar Jackson to win a Super Bowl anyway, but I'm sure a lot of people say the same thing about Josh Allen, right? Yeah. There's so many other quarterbacks, but this season is going to be very, very good. I think it's going to be a very good season. I would be shocked if it I think the whole world would be shocked if it was bad, but this is going to be some good football being played.
So that's great. It's a perfect segue to this week 1 contest versus the Giants. So I've been reading a lot about the perception of the Commanders going into this season. And I'm going to talk about it later on in the week on my show. But I think this is an important game because a lot of people, every year there's a team or two that you just don't see coming, right? They come out of nowhere. The expectations were extremely low. And voila, here they are, competing in the playoffs. And we were that team last year.
Absolutely.
Right? You could argue Denver was one of those teams last year. But even though Denver had an elite defense, they just offensively just weren't good enough. They got the quarterback. They played better on offense. But I don't think a lot of people thought Denver would do what they did last year.
Absolutely.
But we clearly were one of those teams that just caught everybody off guard and by surprise.
Yeah.
Some people think the Giants could be that team this year.
Mm-hmm.
I am not one of them personally. I think their schedule is brutal, and I don't think you can win, 10 games, which is what I think it's going to take to get in the NFC playoffs with Russell Wilson as your quarterback.
At least 10 for sure.
Yeah, So I just don't think you can do that now with, where Russell is in his career, unless you're playing. And even we saw the Steelers play tremendous defense last year, and it still wasn't. And they made the playoffs, but we all knew that was a token.
That was always going to end, right?
They weren't going anywhere, right?
Right.
So this game against the Giants is really interesting because, one, it's family business. You're going up against the NFC East opponent right out of the gate, and to your point, I think it's a great point. This is a revamped offensive line that we still haven't seen the 5 guys that are going to start.
We don't know.
We don't know. We do not know
we
about
really
this
don't.
group. All we know is it's an improved group, but we don't know. There's no cohesiveness, at least to our knowledge right now. Brandon Coleman missed 3/4 of the summer, right? And when he did come back and play in a preseason game, it was with none of the guys that he's going to be playing with on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. So Laramie, a lot of vet rest days for Laramie when Coleman was healthy, right? Because Laramie got here a little bit later himself. So that, he had to work himself into shape. They weren't going to push him too hard. And so there really is no continuity across that line from left to right. And this is a formidable Giants front.
They are.
This is a front that will give you problems if you're not ready. And the thing that I'm really excited about is Cliff has had plenty of time to prepare for them. And he's going to be ready. And Jaden's going to be ready. But what is the biggest concern you have going into this game? And then conversely, what is the thing you're most confident that you expect the Commanders to be able to do in this game? And then if I throw another thing in there, maybe we'll just come back to this later because it's a lot. X factor. What's something that no one's really talking about that you think could ultimately sway this game or swing it in one direction or the other?
So one of the things I've been concerned about, we did talk about it tonight, and I've been concerned about it when everybody was talking about Brandon Coleman and what position he was going to play. And I was like, listen, this was early on. I said, listen, the left side of the offensive line is fine. It's the right.
Yep.
It's the right.
Yep.
We don't know what that is.
Nope. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's Allegretti and it's a rookie.
I think it's better, but so much of what I still talk about is when Cosme gets back. Well, he's not back.
Right.
So I don't know. We don't know. That is a concern.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is a vicious way to start your season.
Yeah, it is.
Talk about the battle happening and what goes down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Right. And we know that the Giants have made efforts at getting better in their roster. And one thing that I have peeped about them, I'm like, do they all like each other? Because it seems like they do. It seems like people are taking this brotherhood thing that the Commanders actually do in real life and are trying to do it in their, locker rooms. Yeah. And for the Giants, they're pretty convincing. I'm like, hey, I think they're actually having fun and they really do like each other.
Yeah, I've been hearing that.
And I'm like, this is interesting and not typical of what you've heard before, right? Much like the Commanders. So I'm like, all right, okay. Yeah. That's very interesting. And the fact that Russell Wilson presents a problem for the Commanders, whatever team he's with.
It seems like it.
Because
he can throw the deep ball, right? I look at the secondary and I'm like, he hurt us with the deep ball the last time we played him.
Absolutely.
That's it. That was it. And you look at who was on the roster then, and you look at who's on the roster now, and I just feel like we're in such better shape now than we were then. But it to me, with Russell, is either a check down underneath or it's a deep ball.
So then that leads me to then I don't know if it was like the challenge or the X factor or whatever the case may be. I don't remember, but I'm trying to answer all the questions at the same time. One of the position groups that I continue to mention on the slide, but I mentioned it that I watch, the linebackers. Okay. Bobby Wagner is essentially like the quarterback. He's like the Jaden on defense, right? To a degree. He runs this shop and he knows everything, right? So you got to see where they put Frankie, how they operate Frankie, right? From a pass rush perspective. Don't forget about Jacob Martin. Jacob had a terrific camp, free agent signing. Let's see how they use him. But Jordan McGee is very, very ready for week 1. Let's see if he gets any linebacker reps. He should, but he's definitely on special teams as well as Kane. We'll see who dresses.
Right.
But the only way to keep Russell Wilson from giving you the problems, or that he's historically given this team with the deep ball, is you got to get him on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Do not allow him to execute. That's it, and that's all.
Yeah.
And that's legit. That has to be that group, that position group has to be ready to make a play on the football at all times. If they can't, like if you don't get the Russ, somebody's got to get the football. We always talked about that turnover margin, right? Last year, the goal was 3. And I was big on all the 5. It was like tackling margin, turnover margin, field position. If I had my notes, I should know all 5. I should know because I would ask about them all the time, but whatever. Those 3 are the ones that would always be at, when I think I said tackling margin. Did I say tackling already? Yeah. Okay. So yes to tackling, but turnover margin, all of those things, they got to do it, but they have to do it all the time. When you talk about then identity and really understanding what is your identity? What do you become? What is it? You need to be that machine. Because when you saw the defense's machine and you saw that in action, it came up in Detroit when they had more than 3 turnovers.
That's right.
You never saw them do more than 3 turnovers all season long, but they never changed their goal of 3. Yep. So they have to absolutely get to the quarterback. And that's probably going to be my whole thing for the whole season. Get to the quarterback, make it dangerous.
Yeah.
Make it dangerous. And if you can't get to the quarterback, you got to get to the running backs. When we saw other teams do it, namely the Philadelphia Eagles did it to the Commanders running backs, and get the football.
Yeah.
Go get it. If you got to snatch it out of their hand, if you really that about it, go get it.
Yeah. And
that's what you got to see, as well as getting Jayden Daniels the football back, because he's going to forever be the X factor.
Yeah.
It's Jaden. And protect Jaden at all costs. Get him the football back at all costs, because he got the football, they scoring, because that's just how he rolls.
Yeah. And that's why we talk about turnovers. This is how much of a nerd I am, Candy. I always tell you I'm a nerd. Them 5 things you talking about, I got them written down right here on my computer.
Yeah, because he listed them out last year, like, oh, these are the things that I'm looking for. So I was like, oh, he just gave us the keys. Yeah. And so for the rest of the time, that's what I would watch.
It's turnover margin, tackling margin, penalty margin, starting field position, and explosive plays.
Yes, explosive plays. And then trying to limit those explosive plays.
Yeah.
Or, with the opposing team.
That's right.
Absolutely. The penalty margin, because you got to be careful with those pre-snap penalties.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, as much as we know we all love him, right? I was so happy in the Cincinnati Bengals game that it wasn't a real game. Why? Because of the 4th down pre-snap penalty on Frankie. I was like, yeah. But glad this wasn't a real game. I feel like Joe Burrow messed with him.
Yeah. No, he got him.
He got him. He got him. Oh, Frankie gonna jump watch. Yeah. Oh, yep. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. Let's go. And so you got, because he's ready. But that's, preseason jitters or just moving, it's preseason. But you don't want to do that in a real game. Like, you just don't. 4th down, no way.
Yeah.
No.
It just, this is going to be an interesting game, because I expect the Giants, because everyone has hope right now, right? Every team thinks, why not us? So you're going to get the best punch that the Giants have to offer. And, there's a lot of unknowns with the Commanders, right? Like, just like there are with every team. You don't know. I think it's important that we get off to a fast start in this game, because they're a team that right now feels like they got nothing to lose.
Nothing.
We're the underdog. No one's giving us a chance. I haven't seen the line, right? I haven't seen the lines in months. But it started out around 7.5.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I that's in itself, if the line's that high, they're telling you don't stand a chance. Right.
Yep.
And so I don't know where that line is, if it's come down, if it's gone up, if it stayed steady. But ultimately, when I look at the Giants, they're one of those teams you got to tell them from early in the game, hey, today ain't the day.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you gotta just, hey,
Yeah.
we gonna be, yeah, you saw the line, you saw everything that was real.
Yeah.
You ain't not
Yeah.
not at home.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I think the fans, if you're going, do your thing. Because
I think they are. Candi, were you there at the Cincinnati game?
Oh yeah.
Matter of fact, what am I talking about? That's that night. That's that night that you took a deuce on them with your outfit. Now I told you, I was like, Candi, you ain't have to kill him like that.
Oh, you talking about this year's Cincinnati?
Yeah, I'm talking about this year's Cincinnati game.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, no. Yes. I remember because you killed him. You killed him with the outfit that night. So, did you hear the crowd after the Jaden touchdown run?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
On the TV copy, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were like, "Whoa, it's like ridiculously loud in here for a preseason game."
He was just so happy. I was like, that's insane. You're this happy over a preseason touchdown?
I think the crowd is going to be amped. They're going to be some Giants fans. Like,
bring it.
Like they deliver it up the street.
They really do feed off of the fans' energy.
I'm telling you, I think it's going to be really, really different. Like, they're going to feel the energy week 1 in this game because I'm telling you, the crowd is juiced. Like, they're ready. Yeah, they're ready. Like for this season, and I know that's what they wanted. Right? That's what they wanted. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see.
It's it's go ahead and do it. You got to start out fast because you got a short week.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice to not have to struggle at the end of this one because you got to turn around and play the Packers 4 days later? Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be nice. That would be nice. And I mean, you're right. Giants have nothing to lose. You got veteran quarterbacks that people basically write off, right? Yep. Russell Wilson, he did, you always talk about him, but he always end up in the playoffs somehow. Or making an impact somewhere. But people just act like, who is he? Of course, people write off and laugh at Jameis Winston. And then you got a rookie quarterback in Jackson Dart that looked pretty good in the preseason.
Great in the preseason.
He really did. Yeah. And so it's like, like an approved defensive line.
Yeah.
And so they got some, some pieces there that can present some problems if you are unprepared or treating them like, well, it's just beat them.
This is where I'm at. This is a trenches game. You did all this work in the offseason to fortify the trenches on both sides. Mm-hmm. And to me, Russell Wilson is only as good as the run game because he's so good off play action fake, taking shots. They love to run the boot game with him, so the tight end sneaks across. You get him into the flat, so you get him on a little 8 to 10 to 12 yard game, and he does those type of things really well, right? Mm-hmm. So I've seen them run the boot game in the preseason. They're gonna do those things with Russell because those are the things he excels at. But no one in the league, I think, is better play action, throwing that moon ball down the field and letting the receiver run under it and go get it. And they got a couple of guys that can do exactly that. So you got to stop them from running the ball.
Yeah.
Force Russell Wilson to have to beat you. Put them in 3rd and longs. Yeah. Russell Wilson's got to drop back, and then that's where you hope to tee off on him, right? And then conversely, offensively, we got to protect Jaden. Like you said, it'd be nice if we could run the ball, but you got to protect Jaden against their front. And whether that's with the screen game, the quick game, the run game, however it looks, Jaden as a runner, as a threat, as a runner to keep them from being able to pin their ears back, whatever that looks like, you have to neutralize that pass rush.
Absolutely, because it's a short week.
Yep.
And we deal with week 1, but not gonna jump to week 2 just yet. But everybody know what's waiting for them in Green Bay now.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
So this is play this smart and play to win, but be very strategic in how you're using your assets.
Yeah. And if you get them out of there, get them out of there.
Law in Dietrich Wise.
Yeah.
And just the size on that defensive line now, it is very different.
Yes. Without question.
Different, without question. And I'm like, what? I was talking a lot about Javon Kinlaw as the season went on because, as the preseason and training camp went on, because I literally, it was like I would see him getting better every practice.
Yeah, that's what they were saying too.
And I was like, this is insane. Is anybody watching Javon Kinlaw? Like, is anybody paying attention to what's going on here? And I definitely asked Coach Quinn about the defensive line and then specifically Javon Kinlaw because I wanted to see if he would confirm through his answer what I was saying, and he did. You know, the athleticism, the way at his size, how fast he is, and just be able to, we just wiping everybody out when he come through. Okay. Yeah. But that's what they're going to have to do.
Yeah, there were a couple of plays where he just threw the offensive lineman out of the way. Yeah, the one play down by the goal line where he made the tackle, just tossed him aside, made the tackle. There was another play where he tossed the offensive lineman out of the way, but the ball went one gap too far over. But you can see the power, the physicality, the heavy hands that he plays with.
Yes.
It's going to be fun to see if he can be consistently. I think that's the thing. We've seen flashes. That's what got him drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
Can he be consistent?
That's the thing.
Doing what we saw him do in spurts against Cincinnati in that small, amount of time that he was in the game, that small sample size. I don't know if you've already given a prediction for the game or not, and you don't have to if you don't want to do that right now and say you want to do it later on in the week on your show.
I think the Commanders gonna win, but
okay. How do you see the game going? Like, what in your estimation? Is this a close game? Do you see them starting slow? You see them starting fast? You see, this game being down to the wire? You see the Commanders winning by multiple scores? Like, what is the thought process going into this week?
I would see it being by multiple scores. I think because on the Commanders, side, being in a positive way for the Commanders. I just think that they love it so much. They love playing together so much, and the home field advantage is a real thing. And the rush of the crowd cheering when things go well, I think is addictive. And so they're going to want to hear that over and over and over again is the type of vibe I'm getting from them here recently.
Yeah.
And so it's a long season, but I think that they are wanting. There's no reason for them to start out slow. There's no reason to give out any passes or it's football. They got to win the game in 60 minutes. The 60 minutes allotted. Where I'm not so starting field position is going to be interesting because we don't know. The right side of the offensive line is going to be interesting because we don't know.
Kicking game with the field goal kicker.
We don't know. I am excited for you all to see a healthy Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah. I'm so bullish on that secondary this year, specifically the corners. I'm so bullish on them. And they think Quan Martin has Pro Bowl potential this year. Like they love Quan Martin.
Quan Martin is absolutely in his bag. Absolutely.
I'm so excited for this.
He really is. He really is. And he's so impressive because he doesn't even really say much, right? But he has this quiet leadership. So it's like either nobody's loud, if that makes sense. Yeah. But remember there was a time when everybody would say, well, who's the leaders on the team?
Yeah.
And for those that we may not have considered leaders like a Quan Martin or even a Jeremy Reeves in past, this staff has really brought it out of them. Right, they've just brought out all of the greatness in the previous roster. We talk so much about the new roster, but it's like no, there's still people on the team that they love, and they're just really kind of coming into who they're supposed to be, and that's how they show up. And reps and they really do play for one another and cheer for one another. So that's the kind of thing where I don't think losing at home is even like in a thought.
It's not an option.
Yeah. It's not like.
And we got to turn Northwestern into a home field advantage, man. Like,
that's
a big thing.
It's very clear. Another thing we learned about them last year is they care about playoff seeding. And the only way you get home field advantage in the playoffs is by doing what?
Winning
the division and having the best record. It's the only way you can get home field advantage.
Winning. Yeah.
So they care about home field. They care about seating. So they gonna come out swinging. It's not gonna be a fluke. If it's a fluke when I come out, it's gonna be like the shock I had when
the Patriots game.
In the Patriots game with that 100 yards. I'm gonna be like, okay, all right, never mind. This is why I don't gamble. And this is if you see me tweet that, then you gonna know why. This is why I don't gamble, because I don't know what is this. And so I think that there's going to be some daggone good football being played. I don't know, on one of my shows, I talked a lot about Mikey Sanders still. Mm-hmm. We talk so much about Jaden and Brandon Coleman. When we talk about second-year players, keep your eyes on Mikey Sanders still. He is a gem. He is a gem. And yeah, him, Quan, it's different. Mikey is different. And I think
always around the ball. Always.
And they feed off of each other. Like if whoever got the confidence, everybody got the confidence, they all got the confidence. And let's be clear, Terry McLaurin coming out on fire.
I think so too.
Barring any injury for all of these people, he has some insane juice today. And all I could do is like laugh, like, good to see you, Terry. Really good to see you.
Yeah, he wanted. You could tell he missed it. He really wanted to be out there.
He can't wait. He can't wait. And I think Jaden and this staff and everybody, you know, even for the veterans, they've given them a whole. It's like this is just like so normal, right? I like looking around today at Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner and Von Miller, and it's just normal. This is just like par for the course, but that energy you get, and when they get out there together, it's gonna be something to watch. It's gonna be something very, very good to watch. I think that, you know, this isn't a fluke. I don't think it's a fluke at all. And if they do lose, it's gonna be some.
Whoa! I don't even want to have that conversation because
there's gonna be some mad people. I'm gonna be like, look, I'll see y'all on Wednesday.
Yeah.
or Tuesday. It's a short week. I'll be like, I'll see y'all on Tuesday because this ain't gonna go well.
Yeah, no. I can't even wrap my brain around that because I can tell you right now, Jaden, there's a quiet confidence about him, but he is dialed in and he thinks this offense is about to just unleash hell on this Giants defense. Like I could tell even today when he was asked about what is Terry and Noah being back gonna do for this offense, and he's like, guess y'all gonna see on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, like he really expects them to have a game plan that's gonna allow him to go, and he's so dialed in. Like this year 2 Jaden is different. Like I don't think a lot of people understand how good he was last year, but there's levels to this, and he can go to another level, a much higher level than he did last season.
I want to be very, as always, transparent. Yes, I was there at practice, there all the time, watching Jaden, all the things. But it honestly wasn't until the divisional round, and I was listening to Dan Campbell's press conference that week. And he was like, Jayden Daniels is dangerous. And I've had the opportunity to meet Dan Campbell a few times, right? And ask him a couple questions, you know, during combine. He doesn't say things like that unless he mean it. So for a Dan Campbell to say Jayden, like literally, he didn't say the Commanders are dangerous. He said Jayden Daniels is dangerous. I was like, this dude is on, he's different. And I've heard people say, I mean, even Cliff, everybody's been dropping dimes on him the whole time, right? Like Jaden is super laid back and he's chill, and he absolutely is. And then Cliff be like, but then he put that helmet on and he a different kind of person. And he is. Yeah. You're like, ooh.
He a whole different animal when he steps between the white lines. He a different dude, man.
Yeah, I know a nut bag when I see one. And he said, but how else can you be? How else can you be in such a brutal sport that you have to win in order? I mean, how else you gotta be? Like what else you gonna do? And so super chill, super humble, funny. And y'all see, it's just like a chill, good guy. And we've all talked about that as well. Super genuine, good human, great human. Everybody loves being around him. People meet him for the first time, and it's like, oh, Jaden. They fall in love with him immediately. And but hey, don't play against him. 60 minutes,
Yeah.
And even in moments, you'll see him talking to people and everything. And some people are like, get him away from me, because it's like a Jedi mind trick. It's like, and I was like, there go Jaden with his Jedi mind tricks. Look. Like we in the press box laughing. And I don't know if y'all can see it on TV, but we're like, look at Jaden, look at Jedi mind trick.
Yeah. I just love their relationship, man. I love, like, I've said this a couple of times. I don't think they can replicate last year's brotherhood, but I do think it is something that they can be good at every year because of the people that they've put in the locker room.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And you saw it in the preseason, like if Bobby's doing an interview, Jaden's over there making faces or doing something or staring at him.
I think you saw Donna. Do you see Donna's when it was Mikey Samerstill? Yeah. Now I wanted casting director credit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you were there. We heard your voice.
I was there, but I was like, I was doing something. I would be honest about what I was doing. I was actually trying to putting some pieces together about the Brian Robinson trade. Okay. So that was that. And then Bob Myers was there. So I had some questions for Bob, but he was walking by.
So you was doing the Candi thing where he was like, man, it's a lot of stuff around here I could be getting into. So
right. And so they were literally talking to Mikey.
Yeah.
Jeremy Reeves was talking to Khan.
Yeah.
Jeremy Reeves was going in the building. He saw Mikey interviewing, talking to Donna, and Lake was over there.
And he came over there.
Yep. And then Jeremy stops going in the building and goes back and goes over there.
Yeah.
Right. Marshawn was walking up. Marshawn stopped to talk to me. And I said, Marshawn, go back over there. They calling you back over there. He goes. Then I see Jaden walking down after his interview with Diana Rossini. He immediately zoomed in on them. You see, you're not going to have no type of party. Now, you ain't going to have no fun without Jaden.
Without me, right. Let me come over here and crash this party real quick.
I'm going to crash it. And that's literally what he did.
Yeah.
And that's what he does.
It was hilarious.
It was hilarious. In a fun way. But even like today was our first day, media's first day in the new locker room. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is, and it's not right now. The vibes I would say are really good, like with media and players. Sometimes it can be bad, right? But that's not the environment DQ and AP are trying to harness, even with us. They're really, really good to us.
Right.
So it was like, welcome. This is your first time in here. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, they were like showing that stuff. And I was like, are we in the same building? Like, did I walk inside the Matrix? Because
this is like the polar opposite of what you guys
are. Oh my gosh.
Right?
And because here I go again. No, let me figure this out. How did they do this? Oh, this used to be, and I'm just trying to figure. Why am I doing that?
Just go enjoy everything.
Why are you trying to figure out who used to fit where and what this used to be and where this is?
They took that out here and they put this in.
Oh, and then I made up a job for myself. I told everybody I had a new job. They were like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'm on the welcome committee. When people walk in and out, I'm going to say welcome." Really loud. And people were. They were playing along with me, and I was like, "This is not. Let me go do some work." And I was able to do that, but I was like, "This is
y'all have fun."
Nice. But everybody was cool with it. It wasn't like what y'all doing in here. They were happy that we were happy looking at it for the first time. Like, yo, this.
So it makes a lot of sense because there were a number of questions about the renovations and all of that from the media. And I was wondering like where are all these questions coming from? It was because this was the first time you guys were exposed to it.
Yes. It
makes sense now because I was wondering why there were so many questions.
I'm like, who's the interior designer? Like but now I'm asking all kinds of crazy questions. Like, who's the interior designer? Oh, what color is it? Like, what's the exact color? You know the number?
Yeah. Not the number.
And so but to that point, and yes, so a part of the presser, right? When people are in places where they feel like they're taken care of, that was one of the stories I tracked last year. I don't know if we ever talked about, maybe we did, about organizational culture, because that was part of my background, right? As an org change management practitioner, when you saw it, let's go back PTSDers, right? Culture was not bad. What did you see on the field? players not taken care of. Now, all of the things you look at from the locker room, you know, to additional athletic trainers on staff, the the nutrition center and all they're doing with that, which is amazing. They're like literally customizing every single part of people's meals to what they should have.
Yeah. DQ talked about recovery. He's like, we got so many different recovery
equipment. Yes. Yeah.
He talked about that today. Like, he's like, Josh Harris has invested in winning. Like, this is what it looks like. A lot of these players that have been here don't know what this feels nor looks like.
No,
now they do. It's like you said, it's a complete 180 from what this used to be. And you can tell it's starting to permeate in the locker room, and like fans are starting to get it. But it's gonna be, it takes one more year, right?
It's gotta one take, yes, it's gotta be this one. That's what I've been, that has been my it's gotta be this one. This is the year that it's like that wasn't a fluke.
That's right.
Luck. It's got to be this year for it to be real.
Yeah.
For so many. But I was, I'm in there trying to orchestrate now, well, where are we going to do the Terry Presser? Oh, we should do it on this wall because this wall is this, that, and third. Oh, you're going to do it where it's already set up.
Yeah,
right. That's my problem. I need to stop trying to do everybody else's job.
Candy, but I'm telling you, over there, that right there is a much better spot.
It is a good idea. I was like, yes, see, it's a good idea. No. But that was an issue because I was just we all were. It was not just me. Now I was the only person trying to do everybody else's job, but we were just impressed.
Yeah.
I was like,
I mean, but it's crazy because we've done the whole, fans, we've done the whole side-by-side comparison of what it used to look like, what it looks like now. And I could only imagine the difference between what it looked like before and what it looks like now. And what you guys have seen and experienced being in that building and then seeing what you guys are seeing now. It's got to be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the videos and everything, but I guess it's just like in anything, right? You see it in real life and you're like, what is this? Like, I definitely thought I had walked into the Matrix. Like, are you sure we're in the same building? I'm gonna go walk back outside and walk back in because this is weird.
Yeah,
it's different. And everyone should be really proud. I mean, I think I may have shared with you, and maybe you've heard Lake Lewis say it when we were at Combine. People were speaking to us. They were stopping us and speaking to us. We were like the cool kids in school. Commanders media.
Yeah,
people never talked to us before.
That's crazy. Because of the season that they had the year before?
I mean, unless it was some drama feel like, oh, it must suck covering them. You know what I mean? But because of the season they had last year, it was like, oh my gosh, I caught your coverage. And how was it, covering Jayden Daniels? Or how was it doing this? Or, wow, you guys had a long season. They should have won. They should have beat the Eagles. It was like, it was so much. And it was like, I'm just trying to drink my Pinot Grigio with me. What is this? And people would be like, let's buy you a drink. You had a great season. And I'm like, what? Who are you? And it was like everyone knew us. And we were like,
That's crazy. But you know what? That's kind of how we are as fans now too. There are a lot of fans who just aren't accustomed, that some are even uncomfortable with the amount of coverage that we're getting, the amount of island games that this team has, the expectation that we have now put upon us. There are fans that are uncomfortable with all that.
And for fans who are uncomfortable, let me be your favorite media person. I'm uncomfortable too, because I'm like, what is this? Every time I log in, the Jayden Daniels Hail Mary is on my screen. Get it off. And it's just like, not in a negative way, but it's like, oh, it was almost better when nobody saw them coming.
Yeah.
And now it's just like,
but you got to embrace this because this is our new norm, right? That's what you're trying to establish, is that this is who we are. We can't rely upon nobody saw us coming. They got to know we're coming, and they got to still be in a position where, damn, we got asses whooped by Dan Quinn, Jayden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, et cetera, because they're that good, right? Because the Ravens and the Bills and the Chiefs and the Eagles, everybody knows they're good every year.
every year.
And they do it anyway.
Every year.
And
so
that's what we aspire to be, right?
So to that point, I know some Chiefs media, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is normal.
Yeah.
Is their seasons are always long.
Right. It would be not normal if it wasn't.
Right. They, and they were hitting me up. They were checking in like, you all right over there? Like, it was like, I don't know where I am. I don't know what this is.
Right.
But they were like, maybe because they felt like the Commanders would have been the better opponent.
Yeah.
But they were going into their like they already knew they were going to go to the Super Bowl. It was like, hope we see you in New Orleans. And I'm like, well, they were like, oh, no. We hope we see you in New Orleans in the press box. I'm like, oh, y'all want Jaden?
Yeah.
Is that who y'all want? Y'all want Jaden?
That would have been like
that's what they wanted, but that's who they felt like was the easier matchup. But they also, whatever
of course.
But they talk just as much trash as anything because they just used to winning.
Yeah, that's what happens. They're spoiled. It's what that's called.
Right? Oh yes, they're super spoiled. I was like, oh my gosh. They were like, well, if the Commanders keep doing like this, you're gonna be like this in a few years because you're gonna get used to like
that's what we hoping for
every year.
That's what we hoping for. We talking crazy like the fan base. Some of us, I'm included. This is an MVP campaign that starts on Sunday for Jayden Daniels.
Oh, I love it.
We talking. Some of us are talking crazy.
About wearing mink coats to games, but
you about to turn you into Frank Lucas. You're gonna be out here wearing your mink in the press box.
Yes, I'm showing up like Frank Lucas. And it's like it's funny. The people like it's funny. Like I'm gonna be on my Blitz fit.
I love it. I love
it. It's Jaden, and people will just. You get messages from national media or folks are just like, hey, can I talk to you about this or talk to you about that? And I'm like, who are you? Sure. Right. Okay. Right. But it was real. And during Combine, nobody asked us about who the Commanders were drafting. It was
they want to talk about last year.
Jayden
Daniels and that improbable run. Yeah, no. That was that was one of those years. Like I said, we'll never replicate that. But the goal is now the standard is set. Now the standard is the standard, right?
Because when you do, you can't just go back to what? Right. No, like now it's like now we got real bougie. Like, no, we not going. Like so, it's definitely I didn't, it was after the season was over that was kind of like I didn't realize I was having as much fun as I was having because it was so much like work.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, those consistent teams, that's how they operate. That's how they plan their season, their travel, everything.
You said to the last time we talked that you usually, do some NBA stuff and you was like, you was spent. You didn't have it to give at the end because the season was so much longer. There was so much travel. You was like, I think your family members told you like, we ain't seen you in XYZ amount of time because you just have been on the road so much because of the last couple games of the last game of the season was a road game. The 2 playoff games, the 3 playoff games, were all road games. So it's like you just was ripping and running, right? And it was exhausting. And I think this is just me speaking personally as a fan. This was the shortest offseason I can remember in a very long time.
Yeah, we didn't. It feels like it wasn't. It was not.
It went so quick because we were still playing to late January.
Yep.
And we normally would have been all over free agency, talk about the draft, etc. And I didn't even want to talk about free agency or the draft after we lost. I was so bummed because I was expecting to win that game and go to the Super Bowl. And so it took a little while. And then you look up and like, oh, it's March. It's free agency. Oh, it's the Combine. Right? Yeah. Like you had to hurry up. And by the time you looked up, like, man, it's the draft. Okay. So it just seemed like everything was so moved in, fast forward this all season.
And that's just how these teams operate. I had no idea. And so before OTAs, when OTAs ended, I'm not sure if the live was still on. at the end of Dan Quinn's presser. You know, he you know, it was probably over, and he stood at the door and he looked at all of us and he was like, "No, seriously, you all get some rest."
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
And I just looked at him and I was like, as soon as he walked out, I said, we got another long one coming, y'all.
Yeah.
We got another long one coming.
Yeah.
Because he doubled back to be like, look, get some rest.
Yeah, I'm dead ass. Y'all go ahead and get some rest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not playing with y'all. Like, I'm dead ass right now. Go get some rest. Y'all gonna need it.
Okay. I laid super low, but to that point of not doing Wizards, you all may have seen some of the tweets that the Washington Wizards general manager, some of his staff, and his front office came to training camp. And they were just, you know, having some meetings. Sometimes we see, you know, coaches from, you know, like the Caps coach came. You know, they do that. And as soon as he saw me, he was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Listen, this is where I'm at. This is where I be." He was like, "I know. You got to keep the main thing. I get it." And I was like, "I'm going to come back." He was like, "No, you're not."
I'm about to say, why you lying to that man?
And he was like,
why you lying to that man?
And I respect it. I really, really do. He said, "But I understand." That's what he said. I was like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Why are you lying to that man? Don't do that.
I'm not.
You ain't going back.
No. I mean, I'm gonna try, but no.
You ain't going back. If this team do what you think, what we think they're capable of, you ain't going back.
David Aldridge even told me, "Well, just get some rest and come back after the All-Star break." NBA All-Star. I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I don't know about that either. One thing I can say though,
I've never missed a Wizard like that. Like I've never covered the Wizards and not gone to one game. And last year was the year I didn't.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I will say this in your defense. You're more prepared now. Last year, it came out of nowhere. You weren't ready. It was all new to you. And so it was a lot. Yes. This year, if it takes place, you're going to be more prepared. You know what you're getting yourself into. And so you'll be more apt to be able to like, okay, I can still do after the All-Star game. All-Star break, I can probably go out there.
I will be I won't be like, whatever, this is going to end January 7th. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we got a few questions. We'll take these before we get out of here. So I'm going to start with Corin Smith. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Corin, writes, "Hey, Candi, Lou, what's up, Corin? Can we retire the we're old narrative? We've been hearing that quite a bit. We are the oldest team in the NFL. That is a fact. But I don't see it as such." He says, "I prefer more experienced. You can be old and shitty, but we're not that. Yes, we're older, but damn, we're real good. Hashtag SOTG." So what are your thoughts on the makeup of this team? You brought up Jaden talking about the veteran experience. We did add quite a few veterans onto a roster that already had quite a few veterans before. So talk about that whole narrative of being, we are the oldest team in the NFL, technically.
Yeah, so at the top of training camp, when Bobby Wagner had his press conference, he talked about how it's like 35 in any other industry, 35 is not looked at as old. He was like, only in this industry is like 35 is like you're 200 years old.
Right.
And so I think there's definitely some room and some space to absolutely redefine what old is versus experienced, and who are we talking about in terms of who these veterans are on this team. Like it's not like they just broke out a few free agents. It was like, come on and help us out. It wasn't that. You really have to use that context of, but who are they?
Right.
Who are we talking about? And and just the type of shape, all of that.
And that was the thing we talked about with Terry, right? Like he's not your normal 30-year-old.
He's not your normal 30-year-old. And if he's staying in this building, which he is, he won't be the normal 32 and 33-year-old either, because it's just what they've invested in recovery and just all of the things that help to shape an athlete and help them to play for long periods of time. And it's for sure for certain experience. It's something to be said about the fact that these guys just know how to move. So it helps the younger guys. It's a reason why they only went with 5 draft picks.
You know what is interesting too? Like we're in a new day and age.
Mhm.
Technology and modern science have changed so many different things. And if you take care of your body, like you talked about, and you got all these different ways to recover, this staff is going to take care of you if you're a veteran, i.e. Zach Ertz had a vet rest day today. They did that last year with him. Clearly, they're going to do that again with him this year to preserve him. You can still play at a high level if you know how to do certain things, how to take care of your body. And that's a lifestyle for you, right? Bobby Wagner talked about, and it looks different for everyone, right? Bobby Wagner says, I have to overtrain, right? I have to overtrain my body because I can't do the things I used to do when I was 24, right? My body needs to know that this is what we're about to embark upon. And so he talked about Peyton Manning, who said, when I got older, because remember, Bobby's like, I need more reps, not less.
I need more reps. You need more. Yeah, he did that. He didn't take a vet rest day in training camp. He's the one. He is one that now 2 years of covering him here. You know, since he's been here. He don't.
Bobby don't show up. Bobby don't show up on the injury report.
No, he didn't take
no vet rest days for him.
Yeah, he didn't take a vet rest day in training camp at all.
And he don't do it during the regular season. And he says he'll tell DQ. Like I remember it was one game last year. It was the Cleveland game, right? They'd taken everybody out. All the starters were out. And I'm like, why is Bobby Wagner still in the game, bro? Get him out of the game. But he tells them, I don't want to come out.
Yeah.
I'm like, get him out of there.
It was an attempt there to get him out, and he didn't. He kept his helmet on and went back.
Yeah, that he's different. But it just goes to the point, like, who's to say Von Miller doesn't have a resurgence this year, right? It's very like nobody thought Dante Fowler Jr. was going to do what he did last year.
Facts, because he didn't play all training camp last year because he was injured. That was an injury that went way under the radar, like all training camp. He was hurt literally the entire training camp. They just got him right.
And who's to say that Jacob Martin won't have a career? It won't take much. Like all he needs is 5 sacks. He's never had 5 sacks in his career. Who's to say he didn't have 7.5 sacks this year?
Quietly, very good camp.
And he's had a really good camp. And that's part of the bringing in veterans too, is not just the performance on the field, which is what you want, which is like Bobby Wagner when he got here says, I'm not a coach. I'm not coming here to I don't mind mentoring guys, right? And showing them the ropes, but I'm here to play. I'm here to produce. And you get a guy like Von Miller, who is one of the best pass rushers in our, this modern era. And he's able to show Jacob Martin a few tricks of the trade, how to refine this move, how his get off remains as elite as anybody in the game. And because Jacob Martin is very athletic. I keep telling people that. He just has yet to put it together. Jacob Martin is very athletic. So yes, we have a lot of veterans. No, that is a fact. But these veterans this is not when Ron came in here and brought Trey Turner and Andrew Norwell and what was the linebacker name that couldn't Thomas.
Yes.
And brought all these dudes. I forgot his first name, but none of these dudes. Thomas Davis, that was his name. First name was Thomas. Thomas Davis. We brought all these dudes in here who couldn't play anymore, who couldn't contribute.
Right.
That's not this.
That's not this. No.
And so I get it though. This whole narrative that we're old. We hear the jokes. People talking about we got the old folks home over here. They gonna break down at the end of the season. We hear all the jokes, but we'll see who's laughing at the end. Because I'm telling you right now, these guys, if we do what we are supposed to do, which is like last year, we weren't supposed to be playing Dante Fowler Jr. as much as we did. He's supposed to be on the pitch count. And because of injuries and lack of depth, he had to be out there. That's not ideal for a guy like Von Miller. He needs to be on the pitch count. And if we can keep him on that pitch count, I think Von Miller could be a problem for other teams this season. I think he could really be a problem for opposing teams. We keep him on that pitch count.
Nobody's really talking about him, but they should be.
I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
I think in the press conference when he said he can wake up in the morning,
and with
his house shoes on, and still, rush the passer. And I'm like, I can confirm that's true because I saw him do it. The only thing that he didn't have on was his house shoes. Because that early morning practice, and I literally I was like, there was only a few moments where I definitely was like, oh my gosh. And that was a Von Miller moment. Like, oh my God, he took like 3 steps. He's already there. Even Jaden was like, what are you doing? It was crazy.
I'm
But
looking forward to
early on, and yes, I think he's going to be a pleasant surprise for many.
I hope so. I really, truly do. Corbin Smith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? I think we re-signed Debo. AP can't let him walk if he balls this season. Gets Terry type money. 3 years of Debo guaranteed a Super Bowl or 2. I don't think. No, first let me see what you think about this. We've had this conversation before. If Debo has, I don't want to say that 2021 season because that he was remarkable. I don't think that's what's in store this season. But let's say he's whatever the step under that is. He's that this year, which is really, if he does that, it's really good, by the way. Could you see them bringing him back on anything, bringing him back, period, 1, and 2, a multi-year deal at that?
Absolutely, because he is a commander. They love him and he loves them. Like, he's just a fit.
Yeah.
It's like he's been here his whole career. It's wild. He's just like right at home.
Yeah.
And they all, I mean, he just works. It just works. And I mean, I think that was one of the things that Coach Quinn said today, right? He was like, he loves coaching Debo. And Debo I hadn't covered him before, but he just looks so happy all the time. He looks like he's so relaxed, and he's just like, I mean, when Terry signed, he posted on his stories, right? Like, let's get it, twin. You know what I mean? Right. They ready. They're ready. And it's like he's been here. It's like he's been here all the time. I didn't see like a warm-up phase. With Debo. It was just, he was just with them.
You think AP would sign 2 30-year-old receivers?
Stranger things have happened. I mean, if they produce.
Yeah. I mean, Terry's going to produce. I got no.
Absolutely. And so it's like, well, why not? Why not?
That's the part that I struggle with is what does the market, because they're not going to franchise tag him, right? No. Like, so clearly, what does the market dictate for him if he has a big year? And do they want to pay whatever that looks like? Someone may be willing to really break him off with something that they're like, we're not investing that kind of money into the position with 2 guys that are on the wrong side of 30.
I think that too. I think that the Terry situation will be an example, right? Because at the end of the day, Terry shared publicly, right, when I asked him about his relationship with Bobby Wagner, he mentioned about how Bobby helped him see the big picture of where he wanted to be happy. So with that in mind, I think Debo would do what the market dictated to be happy. And if much of this too is how far they go. But I don't. He just seems like he's been here his entire career. Like he's just chilling.
Yeah, he wants to win clearly because he got to the Super Bowl multiple times and didn't get it done. So he wants to, and he's been to the NFC Championship game, but almost every year of his career feels like, stands for like 2 years or so. But he clearly came here because he thinks he's going to have an opportunity to win. Well, he was traded here, but this was one of the places he wanted to go. He told his agent,
absolutely.
Yeah, wouldn't mind going there. And so
for sure,
it's gonna be really interesting if he has a big year, the team has a really successful season, and what AP decides to do. Because I think if he plays really well, unlike Terry, like I feel like Terry's game ages well. Debo is, on the other hand, he plays a physical brand of football. Like, how many more years of that are you gonna have at him playing at an extremely high level? Like his game doesn't necessarily age well with how he plays, whereas Terry is a little bit different. it'd be interesting. That's a great problem to have. I'll just say that.
Sure.
That is what we want. We want him to ball out for us this year and have to make that decision, and AP have to make that decision.
I think that this is where you see then the investment in all the things that they don't talk about, like the nutrition center and the athletic trainers and the additional recovery equipment, because age is a real thing, but so is how you take care of your body.
Yeah.
Right. And so I you know, they're making so many investments in things like that that's making me feel like they're preparing for the experienced, because we're not gonna call it the experience. Like, let's make sure they get right. Because I shared a little joke with Zach Erskine here. I was like, "You always in recovery." Yeah. He just looked at me and laughed. I was like, and I'm not trying to be mean.
No, you just making an observation.
You're always in there, but I mean, but he has to be.
He's 34. Like, I mean, what you want him to do, right? Like, yeah,
like, yeah. Yes, ma'am, lady.
I am exactly.
Absolutely, in all ways. Right. But then you see him on Sunday, and you're like, "This is why they're in recovery." I mean, you know, it works. Yeah. So it'll be a great problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. That's ultimately what they want to have to decide. I mean, that's what we want them to have to decide, right?
Yes.
Metaphor Ariel, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "Candy girl, you are our world. That feels so sweet."
I love it.
Yeah, they are here singing to you, Candy. They are here singing to you in the chat, girl.
That is hilarious. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We appreciate all of y'all kicking it with us for over 2 hours. We can't thank you guys enough. This is something that we are going to try to do throughout the season. On Wednesdays, every so often, try to have Candy come on, tell us what she's seeing, how she's feeling about what the team's doing. And so we'll try to set that up. We'll communicate throughout the year and try to get as many of these in as we can, because we know you guys really, truly do enjoy this. I can't thank you enough for the time, Candy. As always, I want you to go ahead, tell everybody. And you can also find all of her work, the links to them down in the description of this video. But tell everybody where they can find all of your work before you get out of here.
Definitely. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's always a great time.
Yes.
On X at CWALL SE, so CWALLSE. Make sure you are following Bowie TV on YouTube. If you're in Prince George's County, Maryland, you haven't cut your cable, you have Comcast, you can find Bowie TV on channels 190 and 1097. And all other platforms, just, you know, Candi Waller, and Instagram, I think it's CEO CWALL. You can find me, follow me. Trust me, I will accept it, or just follow me. I'm always there, even when you don't hear me on the presser. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm always there. So definitely follow my content. My plan is to be on all the road game. I'm there. So we'll see what's up, and hopefully y'all will get to see more of me.
That's right. She's a kindred spirit, because she's like a lurker, like me. A lot of times she's just back there taking vigorous notes, listening to everything that's being said. So you don't always hear her voice, but we know when we hear your voice, and we truly appreciate you, as always, for the coverage that you give us of this team. And we look forward to this season upcoming and all the great things that you're going to do, and hopefully all the great things that this team is going to do, which will allow you to prosper as well. So with that said, that is the first installment of CWALL Wednesdays. Hopefully there are so many more of these to come. We thank each and every single one of y'all for being here. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button, as that helps this channel grow exponentially. Doesn't cost you a thing. And also subscribe and turn on your notifications for more great content, including these CWALL Wednesdays. Until next time, I'm your man Louie T, joined with the illustrious Candi Waller on CWALL Wednesdays. See you guys next time. Peace.